Welcome, heroes and horse riders, to episode 29 of Dion Rising. Hey guys. This right here is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20. Hi friends. What's going on? Yeah, do the Brady Bunch thing. Very fun. As usual, before we begin animating rugs and blowing up paladins, we have a few announcements brought to you by my friend who is not wearing fake ears. That's actually what his ears look like. Bobby, please sound the trumpets for the announcements.
Of course. So, as always, first bit of news of the day is going to be for Int Mod Pod, which is going to be tomorrow with Wizards. I know I said that last week, but as we've established, I am a pathological liar. And also, scheduling is a D&D player's biggest adversary, so sometimes stuff just doesn't happen the way I want it to. Tea time this week, we're going to have Melanie and Dane. You might notice that Melanie's not with us today. So if you're going to want your Mel fix for the week, you're going to have to go and come back Wednesday to sit down and have tea with her as her and Dane talk about who knows what while drinking a drink that I can only describe as highly disturbing. Honestly, it frightens me just a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, we do have a little bit of very special news today, and that is that at the halfway point of today's episode, when we normally would go on a break, we are actually going to be debuting a video that if you are not in our Discord, you will be seeing for the first time. So over on our Discord, they got to see this last week. So if you want to see stuff that we do early, head on over to our Discord page, join that, and you can chat with us. We will show you all of our cool stuff before everyone else sees it. But it is essentially going to be a nice little intro video into all of our characters. So if you're new here, if you're one of our new subscribers, head on over there. Make sure you watch that with us because we're going to do that before the ads go. And then after that, we're going to do our 3 minutes of ads and then we'll be back. So instead of a 10-minute break this week, it's probably going to be around 15. So just hang out with us and then we will be right back after that. Outside of that, that is all I have for you this week, Dungeon Mother. So I'm going to send it right back to you.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, thank you all again for joining us as we embark on an epic adventure in the world of Dion, where heroes rise, dangers abound, and legends are born. Players, dice at the ready. Oh, with the Dane hijinks. Gets me every time, never gets old. Okay, let's recap. In episode 28, Seraphina's family hosted dinner for the heroes of Tuzenkin, questioning the nature of Seraphina's travels, while not so subtly shaming her for her past lack of arcane prowess. Taking a leap of faith, however, Seraphina confided in her father all that Research Associate Rinarok of Luminara's Arcane Lineage and Bloodlines office told her about his sailor daughter's fears about the identity of the newest member of the Council of Three, Nurdistand's highest leaders. The group, accompanied by Lord Blackthorn and Tiefling Necromancer Seraphina's date Zareth, snuck into Luminara in the night to borrow the arcane signature from her father's office. On their way out, however, they were attacked by a mysterious group of mages and lackeys. And that's where we left off. So, tonight we're going to pick up right there. We've got Killian recovering from yet another fireball to the face. And a whole lot of questions left unanswered. So, Zareth at the end of last session mentioned he does have Speak with Dead prepared. However, you're at the tail end of a pretty intense battle. So, he'll let you all know that he only has so many castings of that spell he can do for you at this point in the night. How would you all like to proceed? Would you like to take his advice and try a little bit of post-life interrogation? Or move on from this scene?
I'm going to find the hooded figure that spoke up first and demanded the arcane signature and see if he has anything on him, documents, or anything that might give a clue as to who these people are.
Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation as you search his body.
Okie dokie.
Killian's gonna get up and just very slowly get up after taking 2 fireballs to the face. And he's gonna look for Lord Blackthorn, who I believe is somewhere with us.
Wait, yeah.
Lord Blackthorn, any idea who who these people are?
My boy, I haven't the faintest. I'm just as surprised as you are. I don't even know how they've managed to get into the school this time of night. I fear they must be powerful indeed to have gotten past my defensive rugs, as you've seen, which are very powerful. John Paul, what did you roll for that investigation?
I got a 6.
A 6. Okay. Well, what you are able to find, the scimitar that these guys were using, that the ones who aren't, like, mages were using, it does appear up close to be made of this, like, almost like sea glass, like this greeny blue, translucent, very, very sharp material. Very much unlike a steel blade. Definitely something, like, more naturally carved and shaved down. And you would have noted during this fight that they were doing some different kinds of damage than just piercing and slashing. With that 6, unfortunately I don't think you find anything else that really gives them away. They're not carrying any particular paper on their body, or like a form of ID. That doesn't seem to be something you can find.
It's driver's license.
No, it would be their assassin's license. Like, I am Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You have to get,
such
have to get registered before you start assassinating.
Yeah, with this assassin's guild.
Yeah.
Please.
ID number
Oh, covered lots,
4873.
yeah. If ID is found, please return to.
Well, I'll lift that scimitar to Lord Valerian and ask him if I'll just say, do you recognize this material this weapon is made from?
Let me roll for him. That was only a 12 on an investigation roll. He studies it closely, and I don't think he took a swipe with one of these. I don't think he took a hit. However, trying to see if he has identify. He does not. He says, I can hold on to it and cast an identify later if we think it has some sort of magical properties.
Yeah, I think that might be useful, or at least valuable later.
Are there more than one of those scimitars kind of hanging around?
Yeah, it appears as you're looking at all the dead bodies, the 2 mages have like mage staffs, basically. Not really anything like sharp like those, but each one of those 6 regular attackers are carrying the same type of blade, one of these glass scimitars. So there are 6 around the room.
While Lord Valerian takes one, can Killian grab 2 of them?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He's just gonna put them in the old bag.
All right. Excellent.
If you
add
would like,
to-
I could identify them for you.
You have identify? Awesome.
I do.
Oh,
You are
perfect.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take
take
a
a
look
look.
at it.
See what we're working with here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do that as a ritual though, because spell slots are precious.
Nah, we're gonna go to sleep. It's fine. Famous last words.
Ain't they though?
Yeah.
Okay. The identify spell, which now that I've been watching so much Dimension 20, I always want to use that voice he does. This is a use of identify spell, but I'm not going to do it. It's someone else's thing. Yeah, you do the identify spell. It takes you a minute to run the casting on this, but you touch this blade, and you feel that it is imbued with it's a poisoned blade. It seems that the stone itself is poisoning when it cuts you. And it is, I mean, like you get the feeling of saltwater and freshwater and sea life sort of imbued in this stone.
Well, everyone, not only is the stone poisonous, it is also, like, very watery.
Watery? What does that mean?
Well, it's like the salt water, like the river water, like the water creatures. Essentially, it's just very water. don't really know what that means for it, but I mean, good for it.
And Killian will just be like looking at the blade. Says, well, it looks fairly sharp. We'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah, Marwa, you would also notice it doesn't require a tuning. It's just sort of embedded with this ability. So I will allow you to add Dane to your inventory. It is a +5 scimitar, deals 1d6 + 3 slashing damage, and an additional 1d4 poison damage.
All right.
Well, hopefully we can use these weapons to identify what group this is. Perhaps it's not a regional thing, but specific to these assassins or this party. We'll maybe look into this further when we get back to the minarets. In the meantime, do we want to talk to dead people?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We got a resident necromancer, Zareth, over here.
Sarah kind of like looks at Seraphina for permission, and she nods, agreeing with you all. He says, "Well, which one do you want me to awaken?"
Probably the one that spoke and demanded the cube, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that was one of the regular attackers and not one of the mages. And I believe let me double check my notes. I had to go back and see how you guys killed each of them. To make sure. Zareth explains to you all, it has to be one of them who has, jaw and vocal cords like relatively intact. They have to be able to physically kind of still speak. And he knows
So not the one who was cut in half.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody
precise.
who looks
Precise.
I cut like 4 of them in half. Oops.
Yeah.
So I think probably the ones Bula killed, which are... There's one mage that you didn't say how you killed him, so I'm going to assume you didn't slice him hot dog style. So he could still be asked. And then of the regular ones, you only really did that much damage to one of the regular guys. So you have 5 of the regulars and 1 mage as your options. Above table, Zareth has 2 spell slots for this level left. So you could pick any 2 of these people, unless you want him to do something else with that spell slot. So if you want, he'll go ahead and approach the one that sort of came out of hiding first. It's one of the regulars. He, I believe, is one of the ones who died by Ios's chain lightly, maybe? So he's still usable. So he can do that one if that's what you guys want.
Do we want a mage or a stabby boy?
Why don't we do one of each? We have 2.
Okay, no, let's do us. Let's do it.
Okay. He goes up to the one that initially approached from the shadows, and he casts Speak with Dead. He will warn you beforehand. He says, before I cast this, these guys were attacking us and we murdered them. Killed them. They are under no obligation to tell us the truth or to speak at all if there are enemies. So we're gonna want a way to disguise who we are or something when I awaken him. Otherwise, he could lie. He could just not speak to us at all.
Perhaps a connection in hell that could make his next life worse.
Oh, well, I believe Seraphina has an ability to transform herself into somebody else temporarily.
I believe that is correct. Let me double check that. She has it even prepared.
Why don't we have her turn into their mother or something?
No, just turn into one of the agents. Just look like an agent of them.
Gotcha.
And then they should speak the same thing as them. If she looks like them.
I'm picking it up.
Cute. Seraphina also has Speak with Dead prepared.
Yeah, I noticed that.
She does have Disguise Self prepared, and she can use it at will, so we're good to go.
Good job, Seraphina. You're doing great. You're best talker of us, and you can look like them. Perfect.
Paul, so that I'm not having a conversation with myself, I'll let you play out what you guys want Seraphina to ask, as she disguises herself as another cultist. She goes and looks really closely at one of the faces that's still relatively intact, and casts upon herself so she looks like them. And Zareth casts Speak with Dead, and I'm guessing you all kind of work out what you want her to ask ahead of time, so you can go ahead and take a minute to do that if you need to.
And how many questions are we able to ask? Is it 5?
5.
Didn't you watch the D&D movie? That's the best scene.
Well,
Except that they cast it so many times, they did not have that many spell slots.
No, they just kept casting it, which was even better. I would like to think they just did it over multiple days. That's just in my head. They just kept
Ritual
doing
constantly.
it. Yeah, just ritual casting it constantly.
So what do we want to ask these assailants
Who
here?
do you work for?
What does it like being dead?
That's a
No.
good one.
I don't know about that one, Marley. Maybe we can ask somebody else. Who do we work for? It sounds a little funny.
Well, who do we
work for?
Who do we work for? I lost my badge.
Where were we
Why is
supposed
that the badge?
to?
Yes.
Who were we supposed to go meet back up with?
Yeah. What's the next part of the plan?
Yeah, we could say we have the signature. Where are we supposed to go?
Who hired us again?
Is there anything else we want to know?
What's his favorite color?
Yeah, I mean, we could just get to know him after that.
What's your favorite book?
Would
Say,
it be weird if we asked, why do you think they want this? Or would we already know?
well, the scariest question we can always ask last, right?
Yeah,
True.
Because if they clam up after that, then we'll be good.
we could just ask silly questions. If they respond or not respond, it's just up to them. I mean,
I'm just afraid they'll clam up.
well, that's why we
Alright,
ask
so-
the most important questions, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
where do we go next?"
Mm-hmm. And then the second question.
So what was the first one?
What do we
What do we
take?
do after we receive
Okay.
the item?
Okay.
Should we not try to get specific names of higher ups?
Well, that's the thing. Is who do we
Deliver it to?
Who do we report this to? That might be a good idea because that'll give you the next in charge.
I mean, you can always
Who
play
hi-
dumb too. What was that
Yeah.
guy's name?
Yeah, what was who's
Which
the
one
one
of
that
those
hired us
guys?
again? I
What?
keep forgetting. Yeah, that should be the next question.
Nobody said the
Who
guy
did
you're dressed as was intelligent.
who do we hire? Who hired us again? And let's see. We got who we hired. What we're supposed to do with it. What are we supposed to do if we fail? What were we supposed to do if we fail again? Maybe that should be the
Yeah.
first question, I guess.
That's a good
Because
one.
then maybe they have a contingency plan of something else they're supposed to do.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll put that before who hired us.
You might even ask, did we know we were going to have to fight for this? Find out if they knew we were coming or we were looking for it.
And if they did, then we can figure out who it is pointed them off that we would be here.
Mm-hmm. Was that just a coincidence? Wrong place, wrong time? Or were they trying to beat us to it specifically?
Well, I'm sure they were expecting a number of booby traps and things like that, right, Lord Valerian? You said that these halls are usually quite well fortified and trapped.
Indeed, correct. Yes. It doesn't take me being in the building for the automatic defenses to kick in.
They did seem surprised that we were here, so they were like, "Oh, hey, you got the thing that we wanted. Now give it to us." So I don't think they expected us to be here today.
Suppose a question that we could ask, at least in the number that we have, is aside from why we were hired for it, but why did we need this signature? Like, why did we need to come get it?
Assuming it's because whoever hired them wanted it.
Well, you never know. Maybe it's for blackmailing purposes.
Yeah, if we ask, why do we need the signature? And they say, oh, because we got hired to do it. Then we can move on to question 5, which is, who hired us again? Right?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's crazy lady that doesn't want her signature to be found because she's actually demon. I'm still sticking with that one, by the way.
Yeah.
I would very much also like to remind everyone that once the spell begins, to only speak in direct sentences to each other and not in questions.
Well, we can't be around because
you want to play dead or hide.
Yeah, because we should just hide in the classroom that's got fireballed, because that's a good idea. Because Seraphina's gonna have to pretend to be somebody that she's not. So
There are plenty of
If we
walls.
hide, I can message with her and we can continue conversing if we need to change something up.
Indeed.
Like it.
And you've got 10 minutes per casting, so you
No,
can take the
okay.
time to figure it out if you need to. It'll wait, if necessary.
Okay. Now I got 6 questions, and
we can only answer 5.
Answers. Sure. We'll see if one of the answers knocks one of them out.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Alright, I guess we're gonna run into this closet that Killian got fireballed in.
Yeah. That's just everybody stack in the closet and just chill.
I'm not sure which one we're talking to. Oh, I can't move her token.
You don't. It's okay. I'm guessing it's.
Oh, we're not even showing it. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We're not in combat.
Okay. Seraphina does a twirl, and when she's done twirling, she looks like one of these nasty assassins.
Yeah.
And she even sounds like him. That way she doesn't have to use her normal high-pitched voice. It's convenient.
I think she makes it look like the Sailor Moon transformation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It takes way too long.
Yeah. Yes.
But it looks great.
Song plays with prestidigitation.
Far too many flashing lights.
Not safe for viewers, but it's still fun.
Very fun. Okay. Zareth cast Speak with Dead. And then he sort of, plays dead.
Nice.
He's real good at it.
So I guess I'll just go. I have the cube. Everyone else is dead. What's the next step of the plan?
Take the cube to the Void Twister.
Who do we report this to?
Report it to the Void Twister, and the Void Twister will report it to the Prophet.
Well, what are we supposed to do if we fail?
If we fail, the heralds will come by river and take the seals.
Why did they need this signature?
The signature would reveal that the Void Twister is posing as the one they call Maynote.
And who did we hire? Or who hired us again?
We are not hired, but called to the greater purpose. of the drowned dreamer. And it falls back dead. Sorry, I was typing your questions and the answers as I was thinking of it.
Seraphine looks up at the others and says, "Probably should have asked where the Void Twister was, huh?"
I mean, we still have another person to ask. We have
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
another person we can cast it on. I'm sure they'll know.
That was much more than I thought it was going to be.
Void Twister.
Void Twister.
Dun, dun, dun. And the Void Twister, who is Maynote, is going to report it to the Prophet.
The Prophet.
Hmm.
So we know that Maynote isn't who she says she is, and that she's working for somebody called the Prophet. Okay.
Lord,
I just want to say, called it.
Lord Blackthorn, does any of this sound familiar to you?
Well, I'd have to go back through the histories. I don't believe I've heard of anything called Void Twister or anything particular about a drowned dreamer. However, I will indeed do some research if it's required. Just because I haven't heard about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist somewhere in the world.
Do we want to wake this man up again and ask him who the Void or the Prophet is?
You can
Can't
only use
ask
it
the
on...
same.
It has to be a different body. You can only use it on
Right.
one creature within, I think, 24 hours.
Do we want to ask any of these other fine dead folk?
Yeah, we're gonna ask the mage dude.
Yeah,
One
the
over
one
there
that,
with the glass.
the one that
one
Okay, so
that-
what
fireballed
are our
me.
next 5 questions?
I want to talk to him. Okay,
We can ask what
so
the blade is for that one. Like, what the hell is this fucking blade? What's it made out of? Be one question.
okay, so who is the Prophet? What the F is this blade?
Where is the
Yeah.
Void Twister?
Where's the Void Twister? I'll ask that one first.
Where is the where are the heralds coming from? Like they said from like the ship, but what are the heralds? I guess would be the question that we should
The-
be with that.
But they're coming by river.
Yeah, we know they're coming by river, but like, what are they? Is it like a group, like demons, a mercenary group? Like,
We should
you know,
probably figure out what these seals are too, because their
There you go.
heralds are going to come by the river and take the seals. That seems like
So is that something that we need to gather up then?
I imagine it's the signature, right?
the signature, right? Maybe
That's-
those are the.
The cube seal. It's like their signature seal, I believe.
But
I don't know.
that
That's
was what was going to happen if we messed, like if we
Yeah.
failed. So we
But
wouldn't have had it for them to take.
unless they say never send assassins to do a herald's job and come and get it themselves. But we're assuming that the seal
Just
is the
like
same thing as a signature.
Yeah, I think it's like if we didn't get it this way, then we're going to just take it by force because try
Yeah.
sneaky,
Mm.
sneaky didn't work. Break in, smash.
Right, but it's dangerous to assume that the seal and the signature are the same. What if it's something else? What if it protects this whole city? The seal.
So ask.
Yeah, we got like 3 or 2 more. Right now I have. Where's the Void Twister? Who's the Prophet? What are the seals? You want to figure out who the downed dreamer is?
Sure. Probably a
Re-
god or some sort.
Remind me again, who is this down dreamer?
Yeah. Hey, give me the good word. Yeah, it's been a while since somebody laid
Preach
down
together.
that good. Yeah.
The gospel.
Okay. All right. Where Void Twister? Who Prophet? What seals? Who Down Dreamer? We got one more.
What's the fucking blade?
Oh yeah. What's the effing blade? What's this blade?
Wait, okay, tell me your questions like, one more time, sorry.
So far it's where is the Void Twister?
Okay.
Who is the Prophet?
Mhm.
What are the seals?
Mhm.
Who's the Down Dreamer?
Mhm.
And what the F is this blade made out of?
Give me 1 second.
Is everybody cool with that?
Bobby, are
Anybody?
you talking? We can't hear you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for clarification, was it drowned dreamer or downed dreamer? Because I wrote drowned.
Water,
Like
Drowned.
underwater. Okay.
Drowned.
Yeah, drowning
Drown.
with an
The
R.
drowning dreamer. The dream that drowns.
The drown, dreamer, the drown. Burger. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Back to the room!
Seraphina, as this assassin, will nod over to Zareth toward the room where it happened.
He puts dead hands on this one's skull, and its eyes fly open with magic. And it sits up and waits for your question, as once again Zareth falls over and plays dead again.
I like it. It's a good move.
But
Where?
as Zareth casts that, Killian's just gonna be on like the outside of the door, out of sight, but just waiting.
Where is the Void Twister?
The Void Twister is in the Great Sea Tower, the old Sea Tower.
Who is the prophet?
The dream's voice hears and speaks through the prophet. The tide comes in when the drowned dreamer's voice heralds in his dreams. The tide will return the drowned dreamer to her rightful home.
Damn, a haiku. What are the seals?
The seals keep the drowned dreamer sleeping.
Looks over Azada. Who is the drowned dreamer?
The drowned dreamer is the great Leviathan, the ruler of the Middle Continent, the ancient and endless. The sea and the fresh, the salt and the wind. I think, was that 5? 1, 2?
No, that's 4. Okay. Seraphina pauses to make sure a message doesn't come in before she asks the final question.
Anyone have the message they need me to direct?
How do we get to the tower?
Yeah. She nods. How do we get to the old sea tower?
It watches over the fleet, and the fleet watches the tower. And it falls back dead.
As he answers that,
And
Killian's
dead
gonna
people.
run in and just punch him in the face.
Fireball me?
There's just a hand axe from the back that comes whizzing past you as well and just thumps straight into his head again.
Hopefully we don't need to talk to him again.
Just for, just in case. I don't know.
Incredible.
I think any of the ones that still have faces, Marlway's gonna go and just close all of their eyes.
Well, wouldn't you
Okay.
know it, another calamity is upon us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
That
you
didn't
know it?
sound ominous at all, did it?
Oh, yeah.
I think we could just leave this one alone. It's probably no, just kidding. We definitely need to go find her.
I did not really expect quite this much excitement on the material plane when I first came here. How do y'all survive when you have things like this every 3 days?
Usually it's not so obvious, but it does seem to be a dime a dozen these days. Eidos will call over to Valerian and do you know anything about anything this guy just said? The What do you know this old sea tower where the fleet watches it, and do you know what that is talking about?
Right, one must assume if Maynot is indeed this Void Twister, then the fleet that one was speaking of must be the naval fleet from Ozolid that has arrived with Maynot. Yeah, and I had heard that they weren't actually docked at the docks, as would be expected. They remain anchored offshore to the north a ways. The only old sea tower that I can remember being that far north. There's an old lighthouse. We built a new arcane lighthouse closer to the minaret, and where the waters are rockier. And the old lighthouse has been defunct for some time. That must be what they speak of.
Okay. So the Void Twister must be in that tower. The fleet makes sense. She was with the Navy. Yeah. The drowned dreamer part is as ominous and mysterious as before we asked this mage.
Yeah, but these seals are clearly not the signatures. They're something else entirely.
Something keeping this Leviathan in check. Whatever
Are
it
we
is.
quite sure that the Leviathan will be evil? I mean, even if it's a little grumpy when it gets up, have you seen Bula when she first arises before food?
She just like kind of snorts in your direction, like, yeah, keep talking.
Bula can be quite scary, but she's not a huge sea monster.
And
No, but I mean, Zata's a giant cat, but I don't fear him just because he's big.
well,
Perhaps we should try to be its friend.
remember, maybe a week or so ago when we were sailing from Tuzankin and we were attacked at the open sea by a large tentacled creature. I wonder if it's something similar to that, because that was quite the beast. And Zada, you could probably speak to it, seeing how you got a front row seat underwater.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like its eye was bigger than I was.
I think the only way to be friendly with it is if you join up with these folks here.
Well, mostly from what I understand, things sealed tend to be things that aren't usually very happy, good things. Usually the sealed things are the bad boys or girls or things. So it's probably not great.
But if these people were to fail, then somebody would come and take the seals to release the Leviathan. What would be the point in that, you think? It almost makes it seem like, if they want the arcane signature to maybe do something similar to what we're doing with it, to catch Mano in her trickery, then if that failed, then they would release Leviathan. Although the fleet part doesn't make sense.
Lord Valerian, what is the purpose of the Arcane Oversight Committee? Why plant someone in the Triumvirate?
Let me roll something for him. Okay. I'm trying to piece that together myself as we go through all of this. Arcane oversight laws. All they've done is sow distrust and division. It's not like Erendriel to not trust the mages that built this nation.
So
it's a bit bigger than I think I was prepared to consider. I'd need some time to consider all the implications of what's happening and why someone would do that in relation to all of this.
Well, if I was to go with it, it's just a stab at this is mages do the sealy thing and they don't want people to seal the thing back in the thing, so they're going to make the mages not be able to use their magic as easily as they were supposed to before. And then probably that was the thing, and then they want to try to subterfuge their way into it, get these laws passed, but if that fails because we have the thing that shows that she's not the person she says she is, they're just going to do it by force because, they still want their dreamer to be released at some point. And, Yeah, I think that's probably a good indication.
So seemingly to weaken Nurdistand's, I guess, magical powers with all of the mages that are, I guess, being held back by the Arcane Oversight Committee.
Functionally,
Yeah,
that's how it's worked, I suppose, yes. Astute, I think.
I mean, also if there was people that knew about maybe the Drowned Dreamer, they're trying to get rid of them so that they the city couldn't even defend itself, even if it could or knew. And then if they got rid of them, then there's no problem. Take out your enemies.
How long has Reynaud been in the Triumvirate?
A matter of some 6 months, perhaps. Elections just occurred, and her seat was the only one up for grabs, and the old human that had that seat was just ready to retire. I thought it was a peaceful transfer of power.
Did you notice any?
Choice.
Did you notice any change in the last 6 months in Maynote? When did she start?
I actually did not know her personally until she arrived here in Arendriel. The Navy is mainly based out of Ozoled.
And
she is the admiral of that navy and was before she was had a seat on the Council of Three.
And when she came, did she enact a lot of these new restrictions and rules right away?
No, the new rules, I believe, only went into effect 2 or 3 months ago. More recently.
And in your experience, Lord Valerian, what have you seen amongst your students and faculty in Nurdistand at the Luminara with the, I would say, initiation of these rules?
It's been unclear, frankly. The students, I don't believe, are very well educated on politics. While the faculty is trepidatious, to say the least, about hearing new laws are being enacted for mages, the laws themselves are not very clear and seem to be purposefully obtuse. So, a healthy amount of skepticism, sure, has been noted, I believe. However, I don't think any of us understood the extent of what was happening, by any means. It seemed perhaps Maynote was just making a strong show of force and strengthening the naval defenses that we have for Arendriel, as well as the arcane defenses, perhaps, is what my own assumption was.
And for mages that have, let's say, gone against these new established rules, what sort of penalties or punishments were they exposed to?
Well, we haven't had any instances of such insubordination yet. As I say, the laws are quite vague. However, we all operate as registered mages for the country of Arendriel. We are all natural citizens, and those who aren't register or they attend certain seminars at Luminara so that they know how to practice within the law of Arendriel. I know that, now we know that Zareth, your former professor, was being investigated as one of our faculty members. It doesn't seem anything has come of that yet. That's the first I've heard of anybody being specifically targeted by these new laws. She's a necromancer, so sorry, Zareth, to say it, but they'll always be less comfortable for the masses to understand. Not that I believe that myself, boy.
Okay.
Well, I believe we have an arcane signature to get to Rinarok, and he can help us all decide how and when to implement it to try and uncover this Void Twister posing as Maynote.
Let's make haste. Good.
You wanna... Are we doing anything with these bodies, Lord Valerian? We're just leaving them?
I fear if we stay here too long, these bodies will be only some of the ones we end up creating tonight. I can't imagine that wherever they came from, they won't send more when they realize what's gone wrong. I fear we should leave the school post-haste and come back in the morning when we can regroup. I will pull the faculty members in first thing to clean up and close off this part of the school. I myself will lock the doors so that no one gets here before me.
Ados will say, just a minute, and he'll rush over to the mage that Gillian just ghostly punched and steal his staff.
It's a pretty basic staff, I'm not gonna lie. But it is it looks like driftwood. It's a long driftwood stick, like petrified wood. It's pretty. It's a nice like walking stick at the very least, but it's a mage staff.
Okay, Ados picks it up, looks at it in disgust, and says, "Well, if I don't even have a mantle to put it on," and he'll just kind of throw it off to the side. Does he have anything in his little pockets there?
Roll an investigation to find out.
Okay. 15.
Okay. Nah. He's got like nothing, like barely even has pockets. They're a stealthy group. You've dealt with this kind of group before. They're not ones to give themselves away easily.
Ugh. Ados will charge back to the rest of the party. Let's go.
Okay. So Seraphina's dad takes a couple minutes to ritual lock. The entrance takes you guys around the other like 3 entrances to this particular building, and Arcane locks those as well. And sets them with some other separate rooms for different alarm spells and such. And then says, I believe the minaret will be the safest place for us to go tonight with the best defenses, so we shall retire tonight and first thing in the morning head back here at daylight to regroup with Rinrock and plan our next moves. If that's all right with you all. You are the adventurers, I am along for the ride. And Ados and anybody else who thinks they're looking at him, go ahead and roll an insight check.
We love insight.
Yeah. He only got a 10.
25.
Oh, Jesus.
16, but let's go with that 25.
If there's one skill check I came prepared for, it's insight.
Insight's also something I'm super high with, but not that high. I didn't roll that good.
Okay. Ados a little, but mostly Maraway. I think Maraway, you recognize parental pride, and with that 25, I think like surprised parental pride in his daughter as he looks at Seraphina, and like after he's taken in everything that's happened in the last last hour, really. You know the expression of a man who's seeing his daughter as an adult maybe for the first time.
Can I roll on behalf of Seraphina to see if she notices that?
Yeah, please do.
I think while Seraphina's rolling, Maraway would feel almost guilty for feeling envious at Seraphina getting this look.
Mm-hmm.
She rolled an 11.
11, okay. I think she, like, beams back at him a little bit, and I don't think she necessarily reads. I don't think she would be familiar with this expression on one of her parents' faces, frankly.
Yikes. Okay.
So she would see it as, that's my dad. Not so much the nuance of the moment. Okay. Do you all head back to the minaret?
Yep.
Okay. Lord Blackthorn takes a few extra rounds around the building and all the entrances and windows, and ensures that all the locks are sealed, that all the defenses are kind of double-checked, gone over again. It's normally a pretty defensible building, just being that it's not only their home, his family's home, but it's a government building in the bottom half, so it's very defensible. He makes sure everything's good to go. He pulls the boats up like himself from the water down at the docks, and looks exhausted as he kind of bids you all good night and says, I will call on you in your tea room in the morning, daughter, to bring us all to Luminara.
Thanks, Daddy.
That's perfect. An uncanny resemblance.
Thank you. Thank you.
And how do you all kind of recover from that battle, prepare for bed?
We're at the minaret now, right?
Yeah.
Is there a balcony that like overlooks I suppose any kind of like river or river that would go to the Luminara?
I mean, you're out in the ocean. You're close enough you can see shore. It's not very far out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at my map real fast.
Yeah.
To make sure. Yeah, this little island is kind of like just outside of the mouth, like you're just north of the mouth of a river that flows. It's kind of like almost the southern border of the oldest part of the city. Basically, the city has now spread to cross the river, but a large rushing river that goes inland. You're on a like western facing shore, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got ocean to the west, the land is to the east, and the river is the mouth of it starts south of you.
Yeah, Killian will spend a few hours kind of before the point where, he needs to get some sleep to get like a nice, full rest in, just observing the mouth of the river, hearing that the heralds might kind of come through. He just wants to keep a lookout on things and see what's going on. And at the same time, while he's doing that, he's just kind of looking over some of the little burns. I'm gonna say little burns. Got burned a hell of a lot. So he'll just be using like lay on hands to heal those burn scars on himself.
Oh, it's itchy. It's so itchy.
Like a nice salve. Just lay on hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Killian will be kind of outside, just watching the river.
Yeah. Anybody else doing anything outside the norm to get ready and go to bed, or are you just going upstairs, passing out, getting that long rest in?
Cleaning and polishing my big old axe.
Yeah, all that blood.
And just telling it what a good job it did.
You realize there's like a molar stuck to it that you like split halfway.
My God.
And she just like kind of picks it off the axe and she's like, yeah. She just throws it. Like just a little bit of glee there.
I feel like Kittenberry would have noticed that, like walking by your room and would have said, like, Zato would probably enjoy that as a prize.
She just kind of looks at her and is like, and goes back to polishing. Like, and who needs it?
Good night, I'm sorry I missed the fun.
I think Morrowe would have found a window to look out into the stars. And I think because this morning he didn't get his sad boy time because he missed the sunrise. I think he's just going to take some time to write, letters to his mom.
Yeah, sad boy time. Real sad boy time. Okay. Eventually you all find the sleep that is well needed, well deserved. So go ahead and put those long rests on your character sheets.
Yeah.
And far too soon, but a solid 8 hours later, Valerian sends Seraphina's sort of chambermaid up to knock on your doors. I'm so sorry. The Lord has asked me to please give you your wake-up calls and let you know he is prepared to leave in the foyer whenever you are.
Is she just kind of like in the middle of all our doors, or like
She's kind of going down the hallway, the various little like nooks and crannies, and knocking on your doors individually.
Boo throws the biggest pillow on the bed and throws it straight at this woman.
Okay, yep, I should have probably known that would happen. Okay. I understand. I am sorry to wake you so early. I believe you have important work to do, according to the Lord of the Manor. I'm gonna go wake up your friends. She
Boo
hurries
finds
down.
whatever is on the floor. This woman just keeps chit-chatting. She just picks up whatever's on the floor like a shoe and just throws it as she walks away.
After the
Those are
first shoe is
Shoes,
thrown,
I will be sure to polish those.
after the first shoe is thrown, I think Marway's gonna grab the second shoe and pull it under the bed so she can't throw anymore.
She's still just like trying to find it. That woman's still talking.
Just reaches his hand out and holds her hand.
You hear the voice disappear down the hallway and start knocking on Killian's door. And slowly she goes and she gives you all a gentle waking. And it's sunrise, it's early. Do you all just prepare, head downstairs, do anything interesting to prepare? Do you need a moment to change spells or anything? You let me know.
Killian will, hear the knock on the door. He'll already be up and ready with most of his gear on, but he'll take those 2 scimitars that he got, and he'll have them equipped on himself. Like kind of the hilts essentially like sticking out from the small of his back on like either side. So yeah, he's got those added to his repertoire.
Excellent. Okay. You are just covered in weapons at this point. You're
Walking arsenal.
yeah, really. Thank you.
Eidos and Seraphina make everybody wait 10 minutes longer than is needed before they both make their way down to meet with Valerian.
Yeah. You both look gorgeous.
As always.
Okay. Valerian is indeed standing in the foyer. He's got on like a slightly less like majestic looking robes. He's a real sorcerer guy. Like he's always dressed to the nines, like cloak over jacket over another cloak, lots and lots of collars, bright colors. He's Seraphina's dad. She got her fashion sense from someone. But today he's dressed much more modestly, or at the very least, much more like he's able to move. Without a million skirts and cloaks and pants and all the things. He greets you all good morning and says, I believe we have no time to lose. Let's get to the school and deal with last night's mess as necessary.
Yes.
He rushes out the door and hops onto one of the boats. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, let's go.
Okay. As you all ride one of the boats over to shore, you make way through the city. Do you want to hop in one of the carriages that are always waiting for Lord Valerian, or do you want to hoof it on foot? Carriage would be faster, but it's up to you.
Sure. Carriage.
We'll take a carriage.
Always carriage.
Yeah, okay. You hop in his carriage, you take off through the city, going like pretty much the normal way. Everybody go ahead and roll a perception roll.
Okay. Killing at an 8.
Nat 20.
Nat
Hey.
17.
A nat 1.
Nat 1.
Hey.
Covering the board.
18.
Okay. Eidos, with that nat 20, you would notice, besides just the regular, like, triune guard, like the city guard, there are also people in that, like, naval officer uniform. More than you've, maybe, I think it's hard for you to tell if you just haven't noticed them, like, haven't really been thinking about it, or if there's significantly more than usual, but you're seeing a lot of them through the window of the carriage on your way to the school. And what everybody notices, about halfway through the journey, you hear a barker, like an announcer, kind of going from door to door, block to block, sort of announcing, Triune Council of Three member Millicent Maynote, the Admiral of the Triune Navy, is calling an address at Luminara in the Grand Lecture Hall Theater. And he's just kind of going down. Everyone is invited, citizens, students, and faculty alike, to discuss the Arcane Oversight laws. And he's just kind of going and repeating that over and over again. It is an invitation. It's not a command that he's saying. He's inviting for this announcement that she's going to make, a proclamation, a speech of some sort at Luminara. And at that, I think Seraphina's father kind of like knocks for the carriage driver and says, make haste, Joffrey. I think it'd be wise to get there sooner rather than later. And the carriage kind of picks up speed a little bit. And you get there relatively quickly. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're gonna go punch her in the face before she like does a big announcement. We can like get her before she like gets on stage. Punch her.
Might be a
Take her out.
bad idea to punch a member of the triumvirate before we've exposed her as a fraud.
Well, she is a fraud.
We know that, but the people of the city have no idea, and will be surely hanged for it.
Well, that's what I say. We get it before, like when she's in like her little like room before you go on stage or whatever. We just go take her out. Take her out then.
Yeah, it's called assassinating a government official, and generally looked down upon.
But she's not a
most
government
cities.
official. She's literally not who she says she is.
Yes, but we have to prove that first.
We have the proof.
Not all the way.
I believe, as they say, the proof.
We have the sigil, the arcane signature thing. We know it's not her. Plus, we had assassins that said that she's not who she is. She is. So
Yeah, all assassins that are now dead, so no one to
Right.
corroborate the story.
we have
Aside
Zareth
from-
and the Dad.
Not enough, I'm afraid.
No.
As especially
if-
since Zareth was at odds with the Arcane Oversight, might seem as though he is out to get her.
Well, I'm saying if we kill her first, and we don't have to worry about it, because she'll just not be who she says she is.
I mean, we're
And then,
actively heading to where all of her minions' bodies are, correct? And she is probably already there, which means she's probably already cleaned it up.
So now we just have to kill her first.
And if we kill her, then the heralds will come down the river and break the seals to the Great Leviathan.
Well, if she's already there, knowing her assassin or her minions are already dead, I think that's going to happen regardless. Because she said she's going to have a thing at the place where all her assassin people were, and then they didn't report back last night, so she probably thinks they failed anyways. Just
Right.
saying.
Well,
That ship
how
probably already sailed, literally.
sure. But how great would it be to prove that she's an imposter in front of a great many sorcerers who can then kill her when the truth is unveiled, instead of us 6 punching her to death in a green room somewhere.
So you want to try to expose her in front of sorcerers / also random citizens that could get caught in the crossfire and killed?
Zara, yesterday you and I had a lengthy discussion about letting the people know what danger they're in. What happened to you?
I am all for letting people happen, but like if we expose her in the middle of something and she starts throwing like I don't know spells at random citizens, I'm a little bit opposed to that part.
Okay.
I would be inclined to kind of be on both of your sides here. I don't think that killing should be the first punishment that we dish out, but I also do believe that we should not expose her so openly with a bunch of people around.
Perfect. So let's perhaps do neither. I am quite amenable to that.
Lord
We'll do
Villiers says, Sada, if there's an opening, it seems the danger level is quite high. However, I would hate to see, frankly, she's going to be surrounded. If she is posing as the Admiral of the Triune Navy, I'd be amazed if we had an opening in the first place to even get close enough. We must play this smarter than she will.
All right. Say, take her.
But as soon as that opening exists, you'll be the first to run in and punch her as much as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys pull into Luminara. As you are walking across the grounds, the Grand Lecture Theater is like this really big open air sort of amphitheater in like a neighboring park to the school, with this really large stone dais in the center for like lectures and magical demonstrations to be viewed from. And you note as you're walking across the school grounds to get there, everybody go ahead and roll a perception check one more time. With advantage.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
19.
10.
14.
Nat 20, nat 10, 14, 18. Okay. You guys all would notice with all of those, it was just a DC 10. The building that you had the battle in last night, there are naval officers kind of guarding every door. Casually, it's like they're just kind of like it's like Secret Service when the president's in town. Like, they look like they're sort of there for crowd control purposes, but they are specifically kind of barring anybody from entering that building in particular. And you definitely smell smoke, or the scent of old smoke as you walk by that building.
Running bodies.
Let me ask, as someone who has lit a great many pyres, does this smell like a pyre? Like they've burnt the bodies?
I would
Do you want
normally make
another
you roll, but
perception?
go ahead and roll a perception with advantage for me, specifically. Since that would be familiar
It's
to
gonna
you.
be over 20, I can already
as,
tell you.
as someone who's been burned a lot by fire, does it smell like?
Is it familiar?
You can definitely also roll because you smell. I don't know. Actually, you're probably with disadvantage because you smell like a burned body.
It is a dirty, filthy,
Mm.
scandalous 20.
Maybe a little funny. Okay. No, it does not have the scent of burning bodies necessarily. It is a stone building. It doesn't look like it's like been like burned out necessarily, but it's definitely like the smell of a house fire kind of thing.
Try to burn the sigils, probably.
Maybe. Okay, you guys just head on over to the amphitheater.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Okay. As I said, it's this big open air amphitheater. There's like a small building down there, for people to, take refuge from weather or whatever. But otherwise, it's a big open stage. There's not really much else around. And you do see as you arrive, Maynote is already on stage at the dais, just sort of waiting and talking to, different naval officers around her. She's this like very like sun-tanned woman, quite young. She looks like, I think this is the first time any of you are seeing her in person. She looks like she's maybe like 35, maybe approaching 40. Very beautiful, strong, like really intense, lots and lots of braids, very tightly braided over her shoulder. Her naval officer uniform is just decorated with all kinds of aplomb. And you notice there are 7 chairs up on the dais, upon which Seraphine and Eidos, you would recognize the 6 heads of schools, like the 6 heads of like the arcane schools of Luminara are sitting, and Lord Valyrian says to you all, my dear, I know this is a bit scary. I'm going to, it appears there's a 7th chair there for me, so I'm going to head down and take my place on the dais to avoid suspicion. And perhaps if I have a chance, I can try something. Is there anything I'm worried. It seems she has mages on her payroll, but if there's anything we feel brave enough to try in front of this crowd, otherwise I'll just go and play it cool.
Do we
Can I
want
cast
to test?
detect magic real quick? And I specifically want to be looking at the chairs that they have all of these leaders sitting in.
What's the range on that?
That's a great question.
Because this place is
30 feet.
Yeah, so say.
This place is huge. You would have to get quite close, so you'd have to be basically within like the first.
How high are the ceilings?
There is no ceilings. It's outdoors, open air.
Excellent. Then we're gonna. Oh no, I don't think it works that way. Just kidding.
The stage itself is like 30 feet across, give or take. So you would have to be like basically in the front row for that to reach. But you can maybe reach some of the edge chairs if you get to the front row of the crowd.
Okay. Just kidding on that plan then.
Okay. It was a good plan, but this place is massive.
Do you?
And a good amount of the student body, like pretty much all of the student body, they're taking any chance they can get to get out of classes for the morning. Most of the faculty is here, and a lot of citizens are filtering in with you guys. It's a crowd coming into a concert kind of situation.
Is there a way that you could like make all the citizens like evacuate this premise? Like, is there like a fire alarm kind of a thing to make all the citizens like leave if need be?
It's open air in a park. It's like it'd be easy for a crowd to abscond from here fairly quickly. But like, as far as like a fire alarm, no, you're outside.
Well, I was asking, what's his name? The dad is like, is
Oh.
there like something that he could do to like make everybody leave? Is there like
Well,
an emergency thing that he could do to make everybody go,
he
oh my
can-
god, let's leave?
I can prestidigitate my voice if need be, and tell the faculty and students to flee, and the citizens if they would listen. Certainly I could do that. Is that something we need to do right now? I don't think that would be wise with all these. You look around, and by estimate, you've seen like no less than 100 naval officers in the crowd, up by the stage, around the campus. He's like, I unless you want to take on 100 naval officers, I'm not sure that would be wise at this moment, but in an emergency, causing a bit of chaos might be the way we get out of something sticky.
Yeah, it's just that might be something to just do if anything seems to go sideways. Like other
You
than
have
that,
minor
we could
illusions.
just-
But if I must, I'll make some sort of distraction.
or we wonder if we could just create like a natural disaster real quick, like a fire somewhere. People would run away. Is there a way to do that? I don't think I have. Well, like actually, I can create a fireball now that I think about it.
And then what? What's the next part of that plan?
Get a fire. Everybody runs away. People start dealing with it. Punch lady in face.
No, I was afraid that was
I believe we just had this conversation in the carriage.
no.
There are citizens, children, everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. Fireballs.
And-
People start running away. We just wait, and then we follow her wherever she goes. Punch her in face.
With 100 naval officers, they're probably going to the same party after this.
Not if there's a fire that they have to take care of.
Where are you going to cast this fire outside here? Just a question. At the stage?
Whatever.
Burn everyone on the
Valerian
stage?
says,
No,
Valerian says,
no,
you
not on the
figure that
stage.
out. Do you still have message prepared, my boy Marway?
I do.
You all message me if you feel I need to cause some sort of chaos. I need to get down there as like people have noticed him.
Can you detect magic,
Two-
good sir?
Can I detect magic? Yes, I do have that prepared.
Do we want to
I
give
would-
him? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do we want to give him the arcane signature in case she casts some sort of magic?
No.
We could show all the. What do you mean no? That's not what we're here for.
She'll have what she needs to make
gonna
sure
say,
she's not
how-
the person.
How easy would it be for her to take that back if it's that close to her, though? With
They-
all of us
you-
being so far away.
Right, but
Right.
we have to
You-
bring
they-
it close. We have to bring it close to her anyway to use it. It was so.
Yeah.
That's the whole
But-
idea.
Then I feel
The
like one of
problem
us
is, what
should,
if she
or
gets-
all of us should get closer, not just send him with it.
Also, mages can charm, and that's kind of what I'm worried about. Mind control, charming, that kind of stuff, and then he just hands it over. Not saying that he could, but it definitely could happen, and then we won't have it anymore.
Well,
It's
in that,
risky, but
in
he
that
makes
case,
a
we
point
need-
that we may not have another chance this close. It's up to you if we should take a vote.
How
I-
close do
either-
we need? How close does this signature need to be to
it's
resonate?
50 feet. It's 50 feet.
50?
Mhm.
So we need to be in the front row if we're not going to give it to Valerian.
At this point, a lot of people are sitting down. You're gonna have to worm your way up there and try and find like single seats a little bit spread out from each other if you're trying to get in the front row. The closest people are sitting right now is like 2/3 of the way back. It's getting real full and like people are getting ready to listen. So you're gonna have to make a decision here in a second.
I can get us closer.
I can just roll, and everybody will run the fuck away from us.
Please don't
make-
cause a panic. You all have to decide right now. I have to go down there.
Just double check the stage before you sit down. I'm really worried that she has all of the important people all in one spot.
I will detect
Yeah.
magic as soon as I am up close enough, and I will detect it on as the morning progresses. I can't imagine she will make any moves. If she's worked this hard to gain power, I can't imagine she'll play her hands in front of half of my city.
Who has the?
But I will approach with caution. Should I take the signature? Yes or no?
Would we be able to get within 50 feet of her, of the stage?
I'll have each of you roll just like a persuasion or an intimidation to try and find spots within that 50 feet, or
'Cause
to
you
get
said-
people to give you their spot.
Yeah, because you said front row was 30 feet away, right?
Yeah, let me do one more measure to make sure. So the dais is in the center of the stage, and that is 40 feet away from the front row. So
My-
you would be, if you got in the front row, you'd be close enough to, approach to that 30 feet.
Okay. So a quick vote. Valerian takes it or no? All in favor of him taking it, say aye. Eidos will say aye.
I'll say
I believe you
aye.
have 2 votes. Because you have
Hmm?
Seraphina too.
I didn't want to do that, though.
I think Seraphina, I'll roll, and if it's an even, she'll go for it. If it's an odd, she'll want her dad to stay safe and not take it.
That's fair.
It's an odd, she wants her dad to stay safe and not take
Alright.
it. She votes no.
Vote, everybody?
I vote no.
No? 2 no?
I don't really care.
I don't want it
I
to
just-
happen for my axe because we need to keep this thing safe too.
So 3 no.
Yeah.
Kelly?
I voted with you, Eidos.
Zada, you have
Yeah.
to make a decision.
Oh crap.
I think we've already outvoted 3. Oh, well, he could tie
Well,
it.
I guess
my
I guess
God.
it is 3-2 if he's not going to vote. So I guess he doesn't take it.
Hittenberry says, I don't really know what is going on. But it sounds as if perhaps we find another way. I vote no, I think.
Okay, well,
Unless we find a safer option where we can defend it. I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands if we worked this hard to get it.
let's get as close to the stage as possible before it fills up.
I want to try to get a spot next to Bula. So I think to do so, I'm gonna use some magic. I kind of want to, since we're outside, I kind of want to create the illusion of like some kind of animal poop next to one of the with minor illusion next to one of the like 2 of the chairs, and then I want to use Druidcraft to create the scent of animal dung.
That's D&D.
Hilarious. That's D&D,
That's
baby.
people.
Because these people are rich,
intimidate,
hoity-toity.
like,
There's no
shoulder.
way they're gonna
He's like,
sit
no.
next to poop.
We make
I wouldn't,
food.
especially Stinky's poop. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I was gonna have you roll disadvantage to try and get 2 people to move from side-by-side seats, but using that, I think you're correct. Let me roll just to be sure. Yeah, easy peasy, people see you approaching, and like, before you even get to the seats you're necessarily looking, like the spot that you think is probably gonna be easiest to get, people get up and are like, no, no, no. So you get to prime front row seats. Do you want to be in the center, left, right? It's a semicircle surrounding a circular stage, ending here-ish. So tell
I
me
don't want to be in the
between-
center.
Where is
between, like,
Seraphina's father on the stage? Is he kind of off to one side, or is he towards the middle?
The chairs are all kind of behind and to the right of Maynote, so he heads down there and
Then
sort
we
of takes
wanna
a
be-
spot 10
Go
feet
there.
behind and to her right.
So we want to be on the right side.
Okay, and then everybody else, if you're trying to get to the front, go ahead and roll, like I said, either persuasion or deception to try and get someone to give up their seat for you. Or let me know if you have another trick to use.
Yeah, I'm
Also-
just gonna
and
stand on
Zareth
the
has-
sta-
Zareth has come and found you all as well and is just kind of sticking nearby. Sorry, Zada, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'll just go to like the side of like where the stairs are and stuff like that, and just stand there like on the stair part of it, and just stay there, not sitting or anything, just standing.
So, which one of us has the signature right now?
I don't know.
Do you want it? You can have it.
Odds are it's probably
Sure.
one of the ones who didn't want the signature on us.
Maybe Seraphina, since her father got it.
Sure.
Does that make sense? That way nobody has to decide here.
Fine with me.
Okay. I'll check my notes, make sure I didn't write it.
And while we're sitting, I want my hand like actively in Bula's bag. So if anything happens, I can just reaction grab my staff and be ready to go.
So I rolled. I want to try and get pretty close.
Okay.
Ideally, I'd like to be like with Seraphina close to the front, like with the signature.
So I'll
Um,
let you and Seraphina both roll. You'll have advantage because Seraphina's just so charming and fits right in here.
He's just like, I'm a Blackthorn. Get out of my way.
Just, do you want to roll for Seraphina?
Yes. Just do persuasion. Eidos got a 22 thanks to his tiara of persuasion, which I
Ooh.
needed. Yeah. And Seraphina got a 13.
Killing got 25 with the advantage.
Excellent. And with that, Zareth, you also get a seat for him in the front row. I'm going to put you like a couple, unless you want to sit directly next to Bula and Maraway, I would let that happen with that 25 and with no one else rolling below a 10 in your group. But you tell me, you wanted to be next to Seraphina, which is cool, but do you want to be closer to Maraway and Bula, to stage right? Do you want to be more in the middle, over on the opposite side, so you're kind of surrounding?
Yeah, I think we'll do surrounding, just given the fact that it's probably already really packed in here, and it's probably all we could truly find.
I'm just gonna be that asshole that's like in every single con and everything, and just like sit in the very front without the seat, or just like on the stairway, just standing there. I'm just gonna be that guy.
That's rough, but accurate.
So
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Okay, and then who are we missing? Kittenberry. I'll roll and see if Kittenberry can sit next to any of you in particular. I think she'd probably stick with Maraway and Bula, frankly. That's a 16, so I'll allow her to come sit with you guys. Okay. Everybody roll a perception as you sort of move through the crowd. You have this front row seat where you can like look up the stands and see like the faces of everybody in the stadium. A couple hundred people.
Killian only got an 8.
14.
23.
Ooh.
Okay. I know Seraphina, I think, is the only one who has met Rinarok. But I'm sure she's described to you. He's a Minotaur. And therefore, his daughter, who sort of tipped him off in the first place, would also be a Minotaur. And those of you who rolled over a 13 would note there's clearly no Minotaur in this crowd. Some tieflings with horns, some other various creatures that are sort of horned, but no Minotaur appears to be present. And the crowd kind of finds their seats. And Maynote uses prestidigitation. She is a former Luminara student. She has some magic that she's demonstrating in this moment. And begins to speak as the crowd quiets. Citizens of Nurdistand, students, faculty, loyal subjects of the Triumvirate. It is with a heavy heart yet unwavering resolve that I stand before you today. Magic is a gift, a force of creation, of knowledge, of prosperity. But as we have seen time and time again, it is also a weapon. And when left unchecked, when left in the hands of those who believe themselves above the rule of law, it becomes a threat to every innocent soul who calls this city home. For too long, Luminara has stood as an institution of excellence, a beacon of magical progress. But beneath that veneer of scholarship, we have uncovered a rot so deep, so entrenched that it threatens the very foundation of our society. Last night, acting under the Arcane Oversight laws, the Triune Navy, in service of the Triumvirate, executed a lawful raid against the den of criminals known as the Crimson Cloak. Gasps from people who might recognize the name. This den, this stronghold of sedition and anarchy was harbored within the very grounds of Luminara Collegium itself. Not in shadow, not in secrecy, but with the full knowledge and complicity of faculty members and students alike. Here you see Seraphina's father sitting in his wooden chair on the dais. To the right of the lectern that Maynote is commanding the room from, looks at her just like shocked and horrified at the accusation. Professors, scholars, those you trusted to guide you, they conspired with thieves, assassins, and insurrectionists. They bartered power in exchange for loyalty, turning their backs on the laws that have kept Arendriel strong. She pauses, letting sort of murmurs and outrage ripple through the crowd before she continues. The evidence is irrefutable, and the consequences must be absolute. When a sword is rusted through, you do not polish it, you break it. You melt it down. You forge anew. Maynote gestures to her left, where you see 9 faculty members and 3 Crimson Cloak leaders in their signature cloaks. Shackled and subdued are being led onto the dais from in that building behind the amphitheater by more Triumph Navy soldiers. Among the shackled, you see Vial Duskwhisper, one of the mages who you dueled only a few days prior. Zareth lurches forward at that sight and then gasps again and whispers, Professor Athena, forth from the end. Shit. These traitors, these collaborators in treason have conspired against the Triumvirate, against your safety. For their crimes, there can only be one sentence. Very sharp nod to the soldiers behind her. A signal. The executions proceed, swift, methodical, without ceremony. Blood darkens the stage as disembodied heads thud to the ground, before bodies collapse, before long swords are resheathed as swiftly as they were drawn. Seraphina's father rises from his seat. He's followed by, like, 2 of the other heads of schools. A 4th one faints, slumping from his seat onto the stone stage. You see, like, a guard step forward and, like, gently press Valyrian's shoulder in a bid for him to kind of, like, retake his seat. And he hesitates, then decides better of it, slowly sits back down, kind of, like, leans forward to check on his unconscious colleague on the ground. Mano turns back toward the crowd, calm as can be, and waits for, like, the horror to settle. There are, like, gasps, there are people crying. There's this, like, very, like, palpable rising dread in the crowd. And then she presses on. Justice is not complete. Corruption festers where power is left unchecked, and so we must root it out, no matter where it hides. High Preceptor Valyrian Blackthorn, gesturing behind her, his head, like, jerks toward her, has overseen this institution while such insidious rot has taken hold. He will answer for his failures before the Triumvirate itself. And guards, like, immediately move forward and seize him, and all the resistance that he gives is just, like, crushed beneath the weight of 6 bodies on him, and quickly shackle him. Seraphina, Ados, and I think Maroway, go ahead and roll History or Arcana.
Cool.
That's
Nice.
2, yeah.
Nice. Heck yeah.
That's going to be
you both-
a 27 Arcana, specifically.
You both recognize the, like, greeny gray gleam of these shackles, and realize that that's exactly what the other people who are now decapitated were led on stage wearing. It's Mage Break steel. It's specially imbued to nullify magical powers. And you see, you're close enough, you can see, like, his veins kind of, like, show through his skin from the wrists as they sort of take effect. And he struggles a little bit, but he's truly just, like, frantically scanning the crowd. He, like, makes eye contact with Seraphina, and then keeps looking through the crowd. And it occurs to you, you know, he has another kid at this school who he's looking for, and a wife who may or may not have shown up today. Furthermore, we call for the immediate detention of Rinarok and his offspring, Captain Bess, for questioning. The same is demanded of Lady Lysandra Vilos Blackthorn and her offspring, Evelyn, Seraphina, and Cedric Blackthorn. They will be brought before the authorities to explain what they know and to prove they have no part in this treachery against the Triumvirate. Her expression hardens. Zareth immediately, like, essentially just, like, shoves Seraphina bodily down, like, between the benches to try and hide her. You guys are in the very front row. And Seraphina tries to, like, pull her skirts all to kind of cover herself up, but they're bright pink. Let this serve as a warning. The age of unchecked magic is over. The will of the Triumvirate is law, and those who stand against us will meet the same fate as these traitors. To the citizens of Nurdistand, I say this. Fear not. Obey the law. Trust in order, and no harm will come to you. But to those who still believe themselves above the reach of justice, make no mistake. The tide is rising, and it will wash you away. She steps back, and the soldiers sort of close in around her as she exits the stage, followed by Valyrian being dragged off in cuffs, and immediately the rest of the soldiers begin moving through the crowd, kind of in toward the center stage to search for the people they've been called to arrest.
Seraphina, while she's on the ground hiding, will cast Disguise Self and and Ados will come to check on her and ask her for the signature.
She very quickly hands it over after she's done casting on herself. Zareth has already taken off his dark gray cloak and put it over her to kind of cover up the pink dress she's wearing. And as we do that, let's take a quick break.
Ooh.
We'll be back in 15 minutes. Enjoy our cute little trailer. But yeah.
Yeah, have
See
a
you all
good
in
time.
review.
Once upon a time, there was a prince, and he lived in a fey domain called Sanctuary. It was a world of his queen mother's creation, where refugees of war could be saved, healed, and given a new life. The young prince, you see, was the first natural-born child of Sanctuary, and was seen as a beacon of hope, that life could do more than just be preserved here, but also created. That is, until the darkness came. A twisted dryad, and her disciples. The prince was helpless as his world fell apart around him, his people corrupted, and his queen mother gone. Members of the royal court banded together to keep the last of the royal bloodline out of the dryad's clutches, narrowly evading her big bad wolf. Unfortunately, their magic was only able to get the young prince out of the now twisted realm. He found himself in the material plane, though none of the people understood him. He was cast aside and lived in solitude. For 3 long years, he studied these people, learning their language, though it had little effect on the inhabitants of such a cruel and unforgiving world. He wished upon the stars above every night for a friend to end his solitude, though for many years it would seem that his wish was just out of reach. That is, until he was rescued by a half-orc woman named Bula. With a new friend and renewed hope, the young prince sets off into a strange world in hopes of finding a way to save those still trapped inside the Sanctuary. Will he save his people? Will he ever see his home restored? Or will the darkness of Sanctuary consume him? Oh, pardon my manners. You may call this one Moraway, and together we'll find out.
Hey y'all, I'm Bula. I'm an orc. Well, half orc, half, I don't know, something else, but we don't have to talk about that. I'm from a big orc clan spread out in the hollers of the Morncrag Mountains. And as you can tell, I don't miss meals. The worst thing about leaving home, in fact, is that I haven't found a single person that can make biscuits as good as Grandma Maz. It's like my Uncle Luster always said. Home is where the sausage is always sizzling and the biscuits are never burnt. But I guess I'll have to find a new definition of home now. Anyways, there's 2 things I'm good at. Drinking mead and fighting. Although, if we're being honest, I'd prefer the mead. I was raised strong, and I'm not one to shy away from a hard day's work. I was earning money as a bodyguard and brute, handling problems wherever I could find the need. Until I came across Marway. I was supposed to get rid of him. They said he was a problem, but I just couldn't see how. He felt so familiar to me for some reason, and it seemed to me that he's the one that needed protection from those villagers, who my great Aunt Dilla would have called duller than a rubber axe. So I've stuck with him. He's trying to figure out how to fix his home, and I keep him safe. And now, just maybe, we found a group that could help us both.
My name is Killian Sodru, an Inquisitor of the Protectorate of Oasis. I followed in the footsteps of my brother, father, and generations of Sodrus before me, spanning back centuries to the heroes of Corden, whose heroism was paramount in the breaking of the Dionic-era curse that consumed Cordia. For generations, my family purged the cursed lands of Cordia from creatures most foul, our family's sole purpose being to aid the people. But as generations passed, the Sodros were subject to rumors that dark magics tainted our bloodline, when nothing could be further from the truth. I've trained my entire life under the tutelage of my father Redford and the Protectorate of Oasis. The Protectorate are defenders of the people, and the first line of defense against Dion's dark forces. One tragic night, my home was attacked by demons, and my mother Vanya was slain. My father grew paranoid, insisting the attack on our family was coordinated, an attack made by those within the Protectorate itself. I didn't believe him, but on my journeys throughout the Middle Continent, I've come to witness firsthand that his conspiracy was true. I seek to honor my family name and restore the true standard of the Protectorate of Oasis. The demon that slayed my mother will feel my retribution, and I, Killian Sodrev, will be the one to purge the rumors of my family. The Sodrevs will once again be hailed as heroes, as my ancestors were centuries ago.
I'm feeling cozy there, darling? Good. I do love a captive audience. We haven't been properly introduced, have we? Seraphina Blackthorn. Oh, a look of recognition. Very good. Yes, that Blackthorn. I'm sure you've heard it all before because my family never stops reminding people. You know, all that talk of how our bloodline is woven with the purest of arcane powers. It's all very grand and frankly, very exhausting. But you want to know my naughty little secret? Yes, I am a natural blonde. That's beside the point. I met my real secret. My actual secret. I'm not quite like the rest of my perfect, powerful family. I spent years at Luminara Collegium, drowning in dusty tomes, whispering incantations until my throat ached, clawing at magic that should have been mine by birthright, and yet nothing. Just silence, disappointment, and those pitiful glances from my family. So I did what any girl would do. I had to get a bit creative in acquiring my magic. A whispered bargain. A dragon's favor, if you will. Very observant. Yes, Glitterbell is a tiny dragon. Isn't she so adorable? These powers didn't come for free, but we don't have to get into those pesky details right now. Besides, I know you won't tell anyone my secret, will you? Not while I have you tied up like this.
Greetings and salutations, my pretty readers. My name is Ados Nawat, a sorcerer and son of the drow leader of Pravos, a province under the Oran Empire. However, I do ask that you please don't spread that information around. You see, I've run far away from home. After my elder brother, a vicious man and the next in line for the Pravosian throne, was killed in combat, it was I who was to take up my cruel father's crown. But rather than take on that tyrannical responsibility, I instead fled with the help of my dearest confidant from university, Seraphina, who I believe you've already met. Rudderless and without a home, I decided to follow her on her mysterious quest to find the strangest people in the world. Lo and behold, we found them, and I've been traveling with them ever since. But it matters not to me what I do so far away from home, as long as home doesn't find its way to me. Although, I must admit some guilt over allowing myself to become so embroiled in the great troubles of Dion, while mine own people still suffer under my father's rule. I suppose I'm in danger of having a heart after all. Nothing a bottle of fine wine won't fix.
My name is Zata Stormmane, a proud lineal of the Redmane tribe. The Eastern Continent is my home, a vast savanna where the Redmane tribe have lived for hundreds of years. A nomadic people sifting through the steep sandy dunes and pelted by the unforgiving sun. All in an effort to prove our strength and devotion to the goddess of pride, glory, and vengeance, Ere. My mother Zagra, the shaman of the village, taught me the values of Ere and how to earn my right to be a proud cleric of the Redmane tribe. But I am unlike my people. My people would not understand the complexities of my desires. But if I grow stronger, develop my abilities, and heighten my senses, then no one in my tribe would oppose what I am. The world beyond the savannah could hold the answers to the strength that I seek. After a few short months, I crossed the ocean, arriving at the Middle Continent, and I have learned something about myself. I am not one for boats or the open sea life. Life on the Middle Continent is strange. The people build stone boxes to keep themselves in one place, never moving, never learning to survive, to push themselves. but food and water here are abundant, when back home every day was a challenge to survive. Life here is calming. It is easy to get lost in the prosperity of this place, but I must stay focused on what I came here to do. Adjusting to living in the Middle Continent has been difficult. In this place, the goddess Ere is what they call an unwelcome one, not an openly worshipped goddess. These people do not follow Ere, but they seem to prosper, their lives free of daily strife and challenges. Is this what the gods of the Middle Continent offer their followers? In these lands, I am freely able to wield the gifts given to me by Ere. She made me a hunter, and made my body into the only weapon I will ever need.
Welcome back, my children, my darlings, my babes. We're out here doing some traumatizing stuff, so let's get right back to it. Zareth immediately, Seraphina is down. He's covering her with his cloak. The crowd has kind of turned to chaos. You guys are in the front row, though, so you gotta move, because as the crowd goes back up the stairs and out the amphitheater, you guys are gonna be front and center, and the soldiers are looking around. So Zareth just kind of looks up at you, Eidos, and says, she has to get out of here. And then he turns to Seraphina. Someone's gonna spot you any minute now, and this group draws way too much attention. I'll dimension doors as far from here as I can, and we will run further still. I know the back ways. I think I can keep you out of sight. Seraphina, I really hope you wear shoes you can run in. Seraphina, recognizes the truth in his words and stays low and makes herself as small as she can. She's like, my father, my mother, Cedric. And he's long gone. You guys see, he's back in that building. They're moving him away. Maynote is moving away. He says, Seraphina, we cannot help him against all these naval officers. We will get you to your mom and brother, and we'll figure out how to help your dad. And Zareth looks at you, Eidos, seemingly just kind of waiting for permission.
Go as fast as you can, and we'll reconnect with both of you later at the minaret.
To pull my staff out and cast Pass Without Trace, just to ensure that any kind of residual magic isn't seen from the dimension door. Or
are we close enough for them to?
I was gonna say, you guys were all the way across the amphitheater. You can try and get over there, but it's gonna draw even more attention their way. Yeah, you are. I can measure.
I definitely see that, Bula, of course, is trying to see over the crowd and see and look for Seraphina to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. Luckily,
she can't get to her.
You guys are basically in the front row on at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, so you guys can see across the now empty stage, Eidos and Zareth, talking down at You can't see Seraphina because she's between the benches on the ground. But you can see that they're talking to her, and you guys are 70 feet away. So if there's anything you can do, or if you want to try and sprint over there, but again, you're just going to draw attention if you do that. But you tell me if you have something you can use here. As Zareth gets ready to, you don't know it, but Zareth is getting ready to dimension door them right the heck out of here.
Message is 120 feet, so okay. I think I would be messaging Eidos.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And just asking, what is the plan?
Zareth is going to dimension door her out of here and get her to safety. We'll meet up with them later at the minaret.
I'll convey that to the rest of the group. But I still think I'm going to keep with the original idea of Pass Without Trace, so the group I'm with, can get out without being seen.
Yeah, you could go and grab, Killian is over there, and Zareth, or you can go and scoop Killian up with that once you get close enough. So you can go ahead and cast that. Zareth looks up at you, Eidos, and says, you see if you can go get Lady Lysandra and Cedric before Rinnerock, or before the Navy if you can, and Rinnerock, I guess, if you know where to find him. Then go to the Shadow Lanes and ask for any drunk you see for the Underhill. That's where we'll meet you. And as soon as you nod, Eidos, he casts Dimension Door and pulls Seraphina through.
No. I'll, if the message is still connected, I'll relay that information, the updated information.
Yeah.
Shadow
I think you guys can
under.
kind of almost move with the back of the crowd and start to make your way in toward each other from both sides. And you do end up, you all get together. I think you stay as close in the back of the crowd, or even start to push your way, further into the crowd to kind of keep yourselves covered, and you have Pass Without a Trace on. So everybody go ahead. Everybody can go ahead and roll a stealth check, and I'll roll for Kittenberry. She rolled a 19. Plus some, because she be a rogue. She be rogan.
19.
She be rogan.
21.
Is that with the plus 10s?
Yeah.
Oh, it's plus 10?
No.
Yeah.
God damn.
31.
Kittenberry's got a 32.
In that case,
22. Or 23, I'm
tw-
sorry.
a 27.
Okay. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Excellent. Okay, yeah, you all definitely blend into the crowd as much as this group possibly can, and then some. And you just make your way up out of the theater with the crowd as cover.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Yeah, you are in this park. You can decide when you break off from the crowd where you're gonna head next. Zareth gave you a meeting point for once you find he kind of assigned Ados. I think you would relay to everybody. Zareth asked you to try and get to Lysandra first and Cedric so that they wouldn't get arrested. Time is of the essence for this part of your day.
Do we even know where they are? Also, I really want to kill that lady right then.
Oh, we definitely will. Well, Lysandra works and lives in the minaret. Cedric is hopefully there, but he could be anywhere at this point.
Doesn't he go to school here?
He does.
I prepared a spell that I didn't think I would actually need that I would like to cast.
Okay.
So this is going to get rid of our Pass Without Trace, but I think it would be wise if we sent Zada ahead because he can move so quickly, and I would like to cast Water Walk on him so he doesn't have to wait for a boat.
Hell yeah. A few more levels, I can do it myself, but soon.
To get to the minaret faster?
To get to Seraphina's family faster.
Because they'll that's the first place they'll look to go arrest them, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's where they're gonna be.
So that's where we should look first before they get there.
So Zada will run there, but do we think Cedric is there as well?
It's just the best we've got. He could be at the minaret at home or in this school somewhere in the city. But we know that Lysandra is most likely in the minaret, and hopefully he's with her.
Yeah, it's because that's where she works, right? She lives and works there. She just works at the lower levels.
That's correct.
Yeah, I can get there. And then if I see some guards going over to the boat, I'll just fireball the boat. Then the boat doesn't have to worry about it.
And also just because I do get 10 people, so we all technically have it, but the intent was for Zada.
Okay. And yeah, we'll say, you all get that speed bonus, but Zada can take off.
I'm gonna see you guys then, like, I don't know, 10 minutes after I get there. I don't know. Bye!
Roughly, yeah. Okay. What spell did you cast specifically, Marley?
It was Water Walk.
Water Walk, okay. Before you run off, I think that... Did she do this to you? Yeah. Kittenberry has been practicing her wizard skills and learning some new spells. She's gonna also cast Longstrider on herself and Zada.
Ooh, girl. Oh, girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go so far now.
So your speed is gonna increase by... Your speed and her speed are both gonna increase by 10 feet until the spell ends.
Before Zada
70 feet.
Before Zada and Kimberry take off, do we want to go to Renarok's office while they go to the minaret and just have them meet us in the offices, or?
Well,
because they're going after him too.
I don't think it's a good idea to stay around their office. If anything, I think it's best to take them and go if he's even there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, I see. If he's not there, we don't stay there. Yeah, gotcha. But maybe we should go see if he is there, so we can get him out of there and take him to maybe the Shadowlands.
Hopefully he's able to disguise himself some way. He is a Minotaur.
Well, he wasn't. I took a really good look around, and his child and him were not around anywhere. So, like,
And
I think he kind
believe-
of knew this was going to happen. I don't think he's just here at all.
And I believe he's a sorcerer, so he might be able to disguise himself.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I think Ados, you might be the only one he might communicate with. You're the only one that knows him. Do you know him at all? Maybe I'm just assuming. Did you ever have class
He's
with
a
No.
professor here.
Well, is he a professor?
He's not a professor. I don't know that you would know whether he's a sorcerer or not. He works in the lineage's office. He's a faculty member, not a teacher.
Well, I have the arcane signature. I can just show him that, explain what happened. Seraphina's in hiding, and surely that will be enough to get him over to our side, even if he doesn't know us. Because we do need to find him to use this as well. Although I don't know how important that is anymore.
You would know if it makes any difference. The library or his office is a part of like the library, which is the sort of underground, like water walk, like Venice style floating library shelves, part of the school. So it is underground, which, might make it a little bit less, might make it a little more risky to go down there, especially when the school is flooded with Navy officers. But you're not under suspicion of arrest at this moment that you know of.
Yeah.
Just want you to
So
know all the information.
Yeah, cool. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think it's the first place to start. I suppose we don't know where Cedric is. Zada's going to get Seraphina's mother. So I guess that's the best place to start, at the very least.
Okay. So where do we want to meet?
I can meet you guys at the
Shadowlands?
place. Yeah, just go there, say the thing, get in, meet you there with Seraphina's mom.
He just said...
Do I know where the Shadowlands is?
Zara said
Or-
find a homeless man and just ask...
any-
Drunk man. A drunk
man.
A drunk man.
Yeah,
Does
so you
Ada-
definitely know how to get to the Shadowlands. It's a whole neighborhood. It's a sketchy neighborhood. I don't think you would have spent much time there.
Okay.
And you certainly don't know about Underhill, I don't think, but you could get to that neighborhood. It's a sketchier part of town and would make sense as a place Zareth would take Seraphina to hide. It's kind of the last place she would ever be seen dead.
Yeah, and I'll have Seraphina's mom. She knows the city better than I do, so she can just point me in that direction. It's not that hard.
Eidos just points in that direction right now. He knows where it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a whole neighborhood.
It's pretty close. It'll be like south of Luminar, or of the Minaret by like 15 minutes.
Alright then, I'm gonna go Sonic the Hedgehog this. Bye.
Gotta go fast.
Also, for everyone still with me, I thought Water Walk was a concentration. It's not, so we still have Pass Without Trace and Water Walk.
Cool. There you go.
Nice.
All the
Hiddenberry
things.
is going to take off with Zada just for power and numbers kind of thing. She won't be able to keep up quite as well, but she's fast. And the rest of you are heading down to Rinrock's office? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
believe so.
Okay, so starting with, just because it'll be happening first, you guys go ahead and roll a stealth, the group that's going down to the library, to Rinrock's office. As you just try and, I mean, the school is almost like a ghost town right now after this all just happened. People are just going home,
Alright.
And we still have Pass Without a Trace.
except for the Navy.
Yes.
I rolled a
Yeah.
nat 1, but I'm going to use my human heroic inspiration to redo that one. Because, there's a natural 20. All right, that's good.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Excellent.
From the lows
Wow.
to the highs. So that's...
I got a 15. Oh, sorry.
21.
I got a 16.
That's what I traced.
Those-
36.
Those are all good enough. Yeah, you guys head down. You find Rinrock's office. It's a small office, but full of old books and stuff, old lineages, family trees, scrolls rolled up. Go ahead and roll an investigation. He's not in there himself.
13.
11.
11.
8.
Yikes.
Two. It's hard to tell even when the last time he was here is. The nature of his job, he's got a bunch of stuff all over his desk, lots of writings. His chair's not warm. It's not like anybody has been in here like so recently that you feel like you've just missed someone. And it doesn't smell like all that stale either. Like it doesn't smell like he's been gone that long. by by weeks or whatever. But other than that, your guys' roles don't really tell you much about where he might be.
Okay. I think that Seraphina relayed all the information that she got about him. Assuming that he would have told us about her daughter told us about his daughter as well.
Yeah.
Do we know where she works with that information? Just know that
she is a captain directly under the admiral, under Maynote. She's one of Maynote's Navy captains. She worked her way up. She's a good sailor. So she would be a naval officer. But she was suspicious and worried about her job security, frankly, when she told her dad. And sort of started off your investigation in the first place. She's the one who went to him and said, Maynote's acting weird. This isn't like her. I'm worried. But she would be a naval officer, and you know that she came with the fleet. She lives in Ozoled, and she came back with the fleet from Ozoled.
Well, if nothing here is really speaking to us, I think it's best we get out of here before we're spotted here.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flash over to Zada, who I feel like in the time that it took you guys just to look around and say he's not here, Zada is already at the right. There's just a lion running across the water like Roadrunner in a cartoon.
Speedy kitty.
And you make it inside. And not long after you get there, by minutes, Kittenberry is behind you coming in panting. Go ahead and tell me where you're going to look first in the minaret. So we've got offices in the first sets of floors, all the mage offices and different things, the business offices, and then, the family's home up in the penthouse. Where are you going to go?
I would go to the middle where her office would be. I guess I would ask the front desk where her office is.
Yeah, easily enough.
I'll say it's a family emergency.
Okay. They know you guys are guests of the family. They know you're close. They will happily let you into the office, but they float around the door. They make sure the door stays open. They're not letting you just rifle through government contracts and things, which is what she does for a living. Roll an investigation in her office.
Investigation.
Did you say no before you even rolled the dice?
I have a -1 in intelligence, okay? So that's a 4. I rolled a 5.
Yum.
Okay.
She not be in here.
Let me... Kittenberry has made it. I'll roll her investigation as well. See if she can help at all. She has a +1 to intelligence. And that is only a 7.
We are so good at this!
So you don't find a lot,
We sent the right people.
You find a handwritten note, front and center on her desk, as if it was discarded in a hurry. It reads, "To the investigator. Circumstances appear to have gone south. I fear our efforts have been noticed, as a few uninvited visitors in uniform attempted to call on my daughter and I last night. Put nothing compromising on paper, and say nothing damning around mixed company. Avoid the sailors. I will send word about where we can regroup once I can find a friend to perform a sending. Best, the historian." And that's all you find in the office. Kittenberry has no idea anything about that. She hasn't really been keeping up with what you guys have been working on. She's just been doing Luminara stuff.
All right, I'll grab this and I'll leave. I'll just talk to her assistant and say, Navy's gonna come by. They just executed a bunch of people at the amphitheater. Try to keep everybody safe. And we have it on pretty good authority. If you happen to talk to the lady before us, that the person in the Triumvirate, the Admiral, is not who she says she is. She is actually an imposter.
She says, "Dear, Lady Lysandra is not in the building. It's strange. She took Cedric with her this morning very quickly. Didn't even really give him time to ask her where they were headed. He was actually in the foyer just about to walk out the door to head to school when the Barkers came by announcing that big speech from the Admiral, but the lady of the house insisted that their errand was of greater import and rushed out with him."
That was probably for a good thing. Yeah, they just murdered a whole bunch of people.
Murdered?
Yeah, they executed him on stage. It was a thing, and I think she's just trying to take over to let some god out or something. We found some information on it. It's very dire information. You should probably not let anybody in the Navy come in here if you can, but if they do, like it's gonna be
Are you
fucked.
suggesting we go to war against the Navy as a governmental building? I don't think that's
I was just-
legal.
I'm just saying, try to like do what you can to keep them away from here as much as possible because they're just like killing mages.
We will do
So-
our best to keep them busy, and I won't tell them what I know about where Lysandra went, which is nothing, thank goodness. You should probably go before they show up. Find her, get her home safe.
Oh. We'll do our best, and if she ever, her husband got captured or whatever, goodbye.
Kittenberry comes out with you. Are you gonna take off across with Walkwater again, or are you gonna take one of the boats?
No, I'll walk across the water again, and then
Barry
see
says,
anything.
May I have what they call a piggyback ride, so I don't must be in a boat going so slow, please.
Yeah, no problem.
She hops up backpack style. She says, "This is going to be fun." Do you go like straight back across the docks? And also, where is the A team or Team 1 gonna try and go after leaving Runner Rocks? Are you going to meet up with Zada at the docks? Are you going to head to the Glowwords?
What was that second one?
Or the
Shadow lanes.
Shadow Lanes, thank you.
Okay. Well, we made a plan to meet up with Zada and Canterbury after these little mini missions. Do we stick to that, or do we make them wait?
Well, I think it's. Did we say we were going to meet back with them at the Shadow Lanes? Is that what we said?
Yeah. So we can either go find Renarak's daughter, which should be fairly safe since we didn't do anything and nobody's looking for us, or we can go meet up with Zada and Canterbury.
Where would we even start to find Renarak's daughter?
Well, she's a naval captain, and they do have offices.
Oh,
So
they have
she
offices? I would have.
Oh, you said no?
Officer. She's an officer. They don't have like specific offices. They have their ship stocked, and that's where they've been like operating from. They pretty much still are sleeping on their ships at night.
Okay, well, that's where she works.
I imagine that probably would have been one of the first captured if she's a naval officer, but we can go take a look, I suppose.
No,
we want
you're
to
right.
get that close to the Navy right now, though.
Well, we have no suspicion on us. I think that we should be fairly safe.
But I mean, if they're
If
being
nobody's seen us with Seraphina or her parents, or I mean, we did roll into town with her.
Did you not go party with Cedric the other night, quite rambunctiously?
Yeah, but it's just bars. Everybody's drinking.
Well, I'm almost certain that you and Seraphina's affiliation is quite well known in the Luminar, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. But surely, I guess if they're looking for her, they might bring me in for questioning. I suppose you're right. So then Shadow Lanes? Is that where?
I think it's best rather than expose ourselves to the Navy rather outright, because I would imagine we'd have to get onto one of the ships or something like that to find her.
It is stupid. That is evident. But I'm not sure what our other options are except to just regroup and see where to go next. Hopefully, Zada has found Lysandra. Maybe she has some information.
I think it's best to wait for Zada to see what he's discovered at the minaret.
It's probably wise.
So let's go to the Shadow Lanes and find a drunk person.
Should be fairly easy.
Sure, it's only like 9 a.m.
You've never been to the Shadow Lanes. It's a sordid type.
Zada, as you're running across the water, Kittenberry taps on your shoulder and says, Zada, take me to the docks, and I can charm the dockhands to tell me which way the lady went with Cedric when they left. And maybe we
Sure.
can find out which way they went.
Sure. That sounds like a good idea. And if I see any of the navies come by, maybe I'll just, make all the boats not there anymore.
And that's an idea that I could think is very fun. This is why you and I go off without everybody else to tell us no.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. We might have started something there.
I feel like Kittenberry is such an enabler.
She's just here for a good time, man. Okay, you take her over to the docks.
Yeah, and if I see any Navy people start coming, I'll just maybe punch some holes in some boats, or untie them, and then they just happen to drift away. That'd be unfortunate.
You appear, because you moved so fast, that's saving you a lot of time here. You don't see anybody in Navy uniform approaching yet. Let me roll for Kittenberry. She's gonna go up to just the dockhand and the carriage, the people who are rolling carriages through to take the family and the workers in and out of town. She's gonna approach this straight. She's going in with a charm person. I'll roll their wisdom save. Ha, he just failed.
Rough.
She says, hello, my friend. As you know, I am a guest of the Black Throne family. They are such good friends of mine, and my good friend Zata here is a very good friend as well. I was just wondering if you noted which way the Lady Lysandra went this morning when she left. I was due to have tea with her, but I am so daft I forgot to ask her where we were going to meet. Silly me. And the dockhand says, smiles big at her. She's just a cute little kitty cat. She's not very... she's persuasive in and of itself. So he immediately believes her, especially with that charm person. He says, oh, sure, honey. I think they left on foot, weirdly enough, instead of in a carriage like she usually takes if and when she leaves. And it's weird for her to leave on a working day in the first place, so I did notice. I think they headed... I want to say they headed toward the Gloam Wards. Also weird. I mean, she has a couple businesses down there, so maybe she's just doing her rounds and showing Cedric, all the different things she does in her day. But yeah, they went down toward the Gloam Wards, which is where the working class and the industrial stuff is happening. And, yeah, it was a little bit weird, but, she's out doing her business. So maybe that's where she wanted you to meet her for tea. Kittenberry says, oh, the Gloam Wards, and she writes it on her paw and says, thank you so much. That is so helpful. You are so kind and so sweet. And I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Veers back off towards Zata and kind of rushes away with you. And lets you know what he said.
Okay.
Okay. So where's that? She's like, where should we go next? Do you want to go and meet them in the Shadowlands? Do you want to keep following maybe where Lady Lysandra went? Do we want to regroup with everybody before we try?
I don't know the city fairly well, so maybe get some people that actually know the area would probably be a good idea. Unless you want to scout ahead first, or have me scout ahead first, and whatever.
I don't know the city any better than you do, sadly. So maybe we go and meet them in the Shadowlands, and we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably still beat them there.
Oh, indeed. I bet they are still trying to leave the park where the stage was. How funny. Oh, goodness. I am disappointed I did not get to see you blow up a ship, but maybe later.
I mean, I can do it right now. Do you want me to just destroy a ship right now? I can easily just do it.
I mean, someone paid good money for these ships. It's not like they are enemy ships. It's not as satisfying if it's not someone who deserves it, no? Maybe later. Links her arm.
I can go to the...
Okay, so you guys head toward the Shadowlands. You're all kind of heading there, really kind of in the same timeline. So everybody, as you're moving from one spot to the other, from one neighbor to the other, these stealth checks are going to get progressively harder as, word gets around that Lady Seraphina is being sought for questioning, and people start to maybe talk about who she's been seen with lately throughout the city.
Told you.
So these are getting a little harder. So you'll have to roll these separately. The group with Maraway, I believe, probably still has passed without a trace. It hasn't been very long. And then Zata and Kittenberry are just making straight rolls.
Got 24.
Oh, I'm not stealthing. Stealthy would require me to actually slow down.
Fair enough.
No.
And Kit Bear rolled a 5, so you guys are just moving. You're hauling ass. And
21.
if you need trouble, you're on the way.
16.
21, 16,
19.
19. That all with your plus 10s or before the plus 10s?
That's
With
with.
plus.
With.
Yeah.
Plus.
You still beat the DC for the section, so you are all able. Let me actually roll for Zada and Kitberry, see if they run into trouble. You're safe for now, especially because you're so fast. I like to think you guys are like rooftop running,
Oh yeah, definitely.
cat be cat, like the old days.
What the shit
Okay.
you be?
Oh, this should be easy. Okay, you guys make it to the shadow lanes. Everybody roll a perception just to see if you all like happen to cross paths.
22.
15.
Eight.
Well,
Perception 20. Dirty 20.
Yeah, that's enough. We'll say that you guys definitely like, as it's not like a big neighborhood, and as I said, it's like a very industrial, like working class neighborhood. So it's mostly businesses, and most people are like either at work or like heard what happened today and kind of went home. So the streets aren't very crowded, and you guys do end up spotting each other on like one of the main thoroughfares. And you can kind of regroup.
Over
Hi.
here. Oh, hey.
the mom already knew shit was going down, so she left.
She left. Where'd she go?
Yeah. The Gloam District? I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's where she said she was going.
Is that
Do-
maybe where the shadow lanes are?
We're in the Shadow Lanes.
They
Does
don't even know
Ados-
there are two different neighborhoods. The Gloam Wards is just another neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Glum Wards is just another neighborhood nearby. Did they say what she was doing there?
It's probably hiding. She knew shit was going to go down. So here's a note that I found. You can read it.
Oh, yeah, that's me reading the note. Can you read that note again?
Yes, absolutely. It says here. I'll even put it in the Discord chat. It says, to the investigator, circumstances appear to have gone south. I fear our efforts have been noticed, as a few uninvited visitors in uniform attempted to call on my daughter and I last night. Put nothing compromising on paper and say nothing damning around mixed company. Avoid the sailors. I will send word about where we can regroup once I can find a friend to perform a sending. Best, the historian.
The historian's got to be the Minotaur guy, right?
Well, we didn't see any traces of him at his office. It didn't look like he had been there for quite some time. So I don't know if it was I don't know if it would be him.
Well, whatever. They're gone somewhere in the Gloam Ward.
Well,
She knew stuff was going down. She took Cedric, so they're both safe? Question mark. I don't know. They're not. At least they're not there. So I mean, if they don't have them showing off, so I'm assuming that they just haven't caught them yet. So it seems like she already knew this was going to happen. So
Yeah, that's what I kind of find a little bit odd. Seeing how unless she had a long conversation with Valerian just last night after we had gotten back.
yeah. Well, maybe she knew this was happening for a while. Maybe she was actually a good leader of her city and actually knew that something shit was happening with one of their most top officials, and they didn't even know. At least she did.
Why didn't she tell her husband then? Because he just walked right up there on that stage to get arrested.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe she has a plan for it. I have no idea. Maybe she was hoping her husband didn't. I don't know why you wouldn't say anything. Honestly, I don't know. But maybe she actually knew this was happening Maybe she doesn't like her husband very much and was like, I only want to save my only child because he's the best child in the entire world and fuck
Well-
Seraphina. I don't know.
Well, maybe she just got the note today after he left.
Maybe.
Right.
she left
Well,
early in the
because
morning,
they were
so.
saying that maybe she's known for a long time, but then why wouldn't she have told him? So I would think that she just got it today.
Well, maybe she was investigating, but they didn't know that the stuff went south till after we left. Although I don't know why her husband didn't tell her what happened last night. Maybe they just don't communicate very well. Maybe they should do couples therapy.
But the
I
notes.
think that would
the
be
no-
healthy.
The note.
They gotta live first.
Yeah, but the note says that he had a few uninvited visitors last night. Her and her
No.
daughter.
The
Well,
daughter,
what if
the daughter
it's
being,
Renrock and his daughter?
yeah, I'm thinking it's the
Oh.
Minotaur and his daughter
Ah,
because
okay.
she's a captain and probably looking for her and her dad, who also is
Hmm.
part of the magic thing. That's why I'm thinking it's probably them. And I think that he was in contact with her, and they were kind of investigating because he was already investigating, thinking that it was her. And I think the mom may have already been a part of it, but she couldn't really play her hand because she's also an official. But who knows? I don't know why she wouldn't tell her husband, but maybe she thought shit wouldn't go south this fast. I don't know.
Well, maybe let's go to the Gloam wards and just see what's happening there.
Yeah, that's really our only lead at this point.
Yeah.
Try to find the mother and Cedric.
We start asking. Maybe these are code names. We can ask them that way. Ask for them that way, rather.
What code names? All we have is the historian, unless it's the investigator. I don't know if that really helps so much.
That's all we have. I don't know where to go from here, except for the Gloam wards. That's it. Killing.
Well,
Well,
personally,
Zareth
I
is
say
going to
we
meet us
go-
there anyways, so with
Right.
Seraphina.
In
Yeah.
the shadow. He was going to meet you in the shadow lanes.
the
Mhm.
Shadowlands and
Okay, so you guys want to go to the Shadowlands first, then?
personally, I want to go find where this bitch is and punch her in the face, and I think that would be to solve our problems very quickly. But I don't know if that's a thing that we should do right now. But
No, I don't think so. Okay, well, if you want to meet up with Zareth first to see if he knows anything about what's going on in the Gloam wards, maybe that will give us a better clue as to what we're looking for there.
don't think he would know anything. He's just been here. I think that he just knew that this was like a hideout place, and I don't know he would know about the mother being in the Gloam wards. I don't even think we'll know.
Well, once again, I think right now what we should be doing is finding Seraphina and make sure she's safe as well.
Oh, she's with Zareth. She'll be fine.
Make some sort of decision. We're at a bit of an impasse. Maybe wherever they're hiding out, there's somebody there who does know more about what's going on under the officials' noses.
Hiddenberry says, Monterey, what do your instincts tell you? Where should we go?
Well, I'm always one for finding our friends, so I would say we should go find Seraphina.
No,
If anyone knows her family, it's going to be her.
I concur. At least we can check in and we can head to the Gloam Lords. I do worry about the Lady Lysandra if she is being hunted and may or may not know it, but we should check and make sure Seraphina is okay too, I think.
Well, let's go find a drunk person.
Now,
Okay.
if I drink and get drunk, and am I the drunk person? And then if
You
you,
don't
ask
know
me,
where
will
it
I
is.
know? But that's
There's
what
only
she
one
doesn't
way to
think
find
it's a drunk
out.
person. If I drink, get drunk, will I magically know where it is then?
There's
Pulls
only
out a
one way
whole
to
bottle of
try.
Prosecco and says, let's try. It is a good idea. No, maybe it's some magic in this neighborhood. I love new magic.
Drunken
No.
magic. Oh, that's a new.
Tried your magic
new-
before.
So you guys start to wander around the shadow lanes looking for a drunk?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, roll investigation. Let's see how easily we find a drunk.
Oh,
Gonna walk around. Are you drunk? Are you drunk? Are you drunk?
It's gonna be a solid
gonna-
5.
I'm gonna grab Kittenberry's drink and start drinking to see if the drunk powers happen because I'm drunk.
Right, roll Constitution. Let's see how easily you get drunk with this one bottle of Prosecco.
Killian got 17 for an investigation.
Okay.
11.
11,
Mhm.
I rolled a 14.
14. Okay. Ados, what did you roll?
That one.
That one. Shoot. Okay. I think Killian, you're able to spot like just a common like inn, like a really crappy inn. And your instincts just say, you know, like where there's an inn, there's a bar. Where there's a bar, there's an alcoholic. And you head inside. Do you just ask the first? There's like a couple. There's a guy like snoozing on the bar like this. There's a bartender just like slowly, sort of nodding off behind the bar, like it's morning. There's one guy in there sleeping, and he's got a big old half-drunk bottle next to him.
I'll go to the. Sorry, how many people are there again? There's the bartender. There's one guy dozing kind of at the bar, and there's another person.
Yeah, and then there's a guy at a table with a half-finished bottle.
How drunk is the
They're
half?
all real shady looking.
All right. I'll go to the guy at the table and just say, looks like you could use a top up on that drink.
Well, you know, I'm empty, so yeah. And he's clearly not empty. He's got half a bottle left. But he holds his cup up. Give me, top me off, bartender. It's morning, and starts singing a song. Chanty.
Killian will just kind of go over to the bar, put a couple silver on the counter. Say I'm purchasing some ale for my friend over there.
The couple silver in this bar is going to get you like the best bottle they have, which is not a great bottle, but it's a whole bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll bring it over to him, and I'll kind of put it on the table, and I'll say, you know, this probably need a good drinking spot for this kind of whiskey. Perhaps maybe we should go to the Underhill. What do you think?
Roll persuasion with advantage, because you bought him a bottle.
All right, with the advantage, 21.
The Underhill! I haven't been there in a fortnight, and starts singing again. And like, he doesn't even really respond. He just gets up with both bottles, one in each hand, and like walks, not out the front door, but out the back. Like, goes through the kitchen, and the bartender just allows this to happen. Like, it's nothing. Do you follow him?
Yeah. And I'll kind of
like, we should follow those singing bottles.
I'll just
God defend the fort.
gesture back to everyone, just kind of like nod and come on, follow.
And he leads you down a couple alleys. There's like a lot of unhoused people just sleeping in these alleys. It is trashed. It is muddy. The buildings are in pretty bad disrepair. Lots of like boarded up windows and such. But he leads you through this like series of like very curved alleys. Eventually you come to a sewer grate. And this isn't the first time someone has told you to go down a sewer grate, and it probably won't be the last. And he says, the Underhill, gonna go under the Underhill. And he like tries to reach down to pull the sewer grate up, but he like falls as soon as he leans over, you know what I mean? Like falls forward, does like the comical run until he like smacks into the wall of the alley. Says, open up the door, bartender!
Bula, you want to give him a hand here?
Yeah, I got this. She just reaches down and opens it.
Okay, and immediately, like, it's like a pretty, it doesn't have a lot, it's not like just a grate, it's like a pretty solid cover of this manhole. And as soon as it's moved out of the way and it stops scraping across the ground, you hear the sounds of like a raucous bar emanating from below ground. People singing, there's a bard playing, you hear some music, you hear laughter, and there's just a ladder down kind of into the darkness. And those of you with dark vision can see the floor's not like far below, and like is this sort of hallway and stairs that slopes downward.
Killian will.
The drunk guy is at this point sitting on the ground and sleeping.
Killian will go in first.
Alrighty, y'all follow?
Or no, just jump down. Don't even use the ladder.
Bula's gonna make sure everybody else goes down, and she'll go down last and pull the cover back over.
You guys head in, and the walls, while they start off like kind of just like sandstone, they eventually turn to like very like nicely laid brick walls, and then there's a like leather white curtain, and you go through and you find what is, for lack of a better term, a speakeasy, a very rambunctious speakeasy. And there's this big painted sign above the bar, the Underhill Haven. And it's 9 a.m., but people are eating breakfast, they're singing, there's a band playing, there's like little kids running around playing tag. It's like a little community center for a very sleazy part of town. And you can go ahead and take a look around, and I think you would see, like, hiding in plain sight within the crowd, Zareth is sitting next to this, like, old, like, crotchety lady, like, with a hunchback and just the ugliest features. The best way Seraphina could think to fit in. And you would note, like, she's wearing his, like, dark cloak still and has his, like, jacket on as well, but you see the pink skirts just, like, poking out from under his, like, cloak at the bottom.
It's like she's hiding, but since we know her so well, it's like she's not even hiding.
I think it wouldn't take either of them long to see you and just kind of, like, gesture you over to their, like, they're in a bigger booth.
No.
And
He'll
Seraphina
head
says,
over.
Where's my mom? Where's my mom?
She took your brother. She went to the Gloom District. I think she had shit was going down. And here's a note. So there you go.
She quickly reads the note. Let me roll fast. You guys, this was for me. This wasn't for my mom. I'm the investigator. He's the historian.
Oh.
I was working with him to figure out about the Arcane signature.
Oh, well, there you go.
And then she reads it again and she's like, so last night, Navy officers went to arrest or went to visit or ask questions of Rinarok. And his daughter did too, so they must be hiding.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But why would my mom have gone after them? My mom doesn't know anything.
Seems to. Know something.
Okay, that's not good. I feel like she keeps, like, forgetting to, like, look like an old lady and just slowly hunches back over.
Well, does your mom have
reads
any?
a note over her shoulder and doesn't really have a clue.
Does your mom have any like businesses that she would go to, or like anything that we should go try to find of her in the Gloom District?
Yeah, she has a couple businesses in the Gloamwards. The ones I know of. I don't know. I mean, she invests in a lot of businesses, but she almost never goes and visits anyone in particular. I don't know. Let me roll for her. See if she can think of anything. No. Like, I don't know what I haven't been home in so long, I don't know what her businesses even are right now.
Alright, well, the two choices I think that we have in front of us is A, try to go find your mom, or B, go punch a bitch in the face. And I really like the idea of punching someone in the face. We have the information. We can knock her out. We don't have to kill her, I guess. But we can knock her out and, like, use the arcane signature and stuff like that. And, I mean, she's going to be on a boat, right? Probably. Just go take out the boat. Easy.
Zareth would say there is the matter of the entire Navy around her. She's not alone. You have to get to her for that to work.
Well, we can water walk again, infiltrate the boat, take her out. I blow a hole in the side, start sinking. Easy.
Anybody have a different idea?
Anything else would be better.
It's not a bad
Seraphina
idea.
I please need you guys to find my mom and Cedric before they get arrested. And then, Zada, we can go and punch her in the face as many times as you'd like, but let's make sure my family is safe first.
Sure. Look, yeah. If you, I mean, that was plan 1 or plan 2. I was like, either one of those is fine. I just don't know where we would go in that district.
Maybe she's
let's ask
taking.
around. Or you can ask around. I mean, she's a rich lady walking around in an industrial district. I'm sure someone saw her.
She might have taken refuge in one of these businesses she invests in.
I would hope she would have transformed or looked something a little bit different. But yeah, we could go do that. Not a problem.
Seraphina and Zareth kind of look at each other, and Zareth's like, I don't think I should go with you. I don't know. I should probably stay here. This is like the best spot for me to hide and a good meetup spot for if you guys find her, I think.
Sure. Maybe you can ask around and see if there's like where she's at, like try to get some information on this boat lady, see where she's at, what boat is hers, general information, maybe figure out where she is right now, and then we can go figure out, make a plan from there while we go try to find your mom.
Okay.
Because I'm sure down here there's got to be some kind of guy that deals with, information, shady stuff, information dealers or whatever. I'm sure you can do that while we go
On a
try to
nat
find your mom.
20, Zareth is like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of time down here. We could ask around. There's like a whole underground community here that we could ask.
Perfect. You can go start that going, and we'll go try to find your mom and your brother.
Okay. Meet us back here with them. Find them and bring them here safe.
Cool.
Okay, you guys head out?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okie. To the Gloam wards, as we're moving neighborhoods again, let's roll another increasing DC stealth roll.
Are we still passed without trace?
I think you're probably going to be still, but it's going to be getting close here. This might be your last time being able to do that.
23.
22.
Oh,
29.
Nice.
36.
30, filthy 30.
Dirty 30.
Dirty girl. Okay, excellent. You guys make it, no problem. Staying to the shadows, I think Eidos, you're kind of leading them, down less used roads. You don't know these neighborhoods super well, but I think you would be able to figure out how to avoid the thoroughfares, the really crowded parts of town. You guys make it to the Gloam wards. As I said, this is an industrial kind of business district. Although there is like industrial like magic still being done here. It's a nicer industrial district. You see a lot of this is like forges, like golem forges and dwarven forges, different things like that. There's like a stretch of potion shops and labs. And you guys tell me, how are you going to investigate, try and narrow down where she might be?
Start at the businesses that Lysandra is working with, right?
Yeah.
As good places in.
You can go ahead and hop into probably one of like the potion shops. You're thinking like, she would be in the magical business. She'd be in the business of magical business. So you can hop into a potion shop that's open and start asking around, see if she, if they know her. Go ahead and roll a persuasion or an investigation. And are you asking specifically after her?
Seems like. Yeah, I guess. I'm not really sure how else to go about it. So yeah, I'll ask if they have seen Lady Lysandra walking around here lately. So it's either an 18 or a 23. Go with 23.
23, okay. The sort of clerk says, yeah, we work with Lady Lysandra. I haven't actually seen her yet today, though. I did see a weird couple walking around with big old cow heads. I haven't seen one like that before in a couple of years, I think. They came in this morning and looked a little worse for wear. They asked for a healing potion and then moved on. But I haven't seen Lady Lysandra yet. Tell her I say hi and let you know if she stops by if you come back by.
Oh, certainly. Thank you for your help. You know, go tell the others that the Minotaurs have been around.
Okay. And as you guys are trying to figure out what to do next, let's go ahead and end it for tonight.
Ooh.
End it on a cliffhanger. So, you know that a couple of, cow-headed people have been spotted. Sounds a bit like a Minotaur. When we come back next time, you guys can have maybe a little bit of a plan for how you're going to proceed from here. And see if we can find the missing Lady Lysandra and Cedric in Rinnerock.
So the thing is actually just going to be Lysandra and Cedric with cow heads on them, and that's what they are doing. That's their disguise.
Like
That was
paper
smart,
mache
Joey.
ones.
I love a good twist. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching over on Twitch. We appreciate you all. We love you. Stay safe. Stay sexy like a nat 20. Toodles.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be like a dirty 20.
Oh, filthy, dirty 20.
Filthy
Dirty.
ass.
Oh, so dirty.
Good night. Good
So
night.
nasty.